Looking for book reviews. Female frequency, unaware of the plot, Conan, curse return, Buno, ghost destruction. The hostess Linlang is trapped in anime, and can go home only after she passes through different animations and gains the character's popularity. Front row prompt. Strong women. Strong alliance. A small amount of OOC. Original characters. Each world has side quests, as well as a viewing experience. Plot progress. 1. Conan Police Academy Group, Miku Kobayashi, Moro, CP Jingguang, formerly Matsuda. End. 2. Spell Return Battle, Rinzo Sasaki, Super Mage, CP Dog Scroll, End. 3. Wenhao Wild Dog, Kyolan, member of the Armed Detective Society, CP Zhongya, Beast Line CP Leader Zai. End. 4. Ghost Slaying Blade, Rain Palace Ling Yin, member of Ghost Slaying Team, CP to be determined, in progress. 5. Conan's main article, to be opened, Shura Field Warning. 6. Real World, to be activated. Each world's intentions are difficult to level, character counter-attack strategy warning. Chapter 1. Objective, Kushui Police Academy Team. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The second hand pointed towards the last moment, and with the sound of the alarm clock, the various scenery lights suddenly woke up and sat up. Time is almost up, Jufu Jun. A gentle female voice came from beside, and the long-haired woman in a white coat turned around. The name tag on her chest was marked with the words, Kobayashi Meishu. How do you feel? Are you still having nightmares? Her eyebrows furrowed slightly, and there was a hint of concern and unknown heartache in her eyes as she looked at Jufu Jingguang. It's already much better, Senior Xiaolin. Jufu Jingguang gave a somewhat forced smile. I've been bothering you lately, I'm really sorry. It's nothing. It's my responsibility as a doctor, she said with a slight blush on her face. But Jufu Jun, if you want to work as a police officer, sufficient and high-quality sleep is essential. The effectiveness of environmental improvement methods is limited, so I suggest you seek professional psychological guidance. After all, the best way to eliminate fear is to face it. Thank you, Senior. In the not-so-spacious space, the two sat opposite each other. The misty aroma of tea continued to spread from the cup, but still could not conceal the faint fragrance emanating from each other. Jufu Jingguang's heart twitched as he followed the fragrance and looked at the woman across from him. The soft black hair cascaded down like a waterfall, with a soft glow emanating from the bright brown pupils. The petite lips and delicate nose bridge complemented the fair and tight oval face, exuding an elegant demeanor reminiscent of a beauty emerging from the image of a lady, particularly attracting people's attention. Beauty is like a flower separated from the clouds. A sentence suddenly appeared in Jufu Jingguang's mind. Beauty is like a flower separated by clouds, with the long sky above and the ripples of clear waters below. Ah, did Jufu Jun also have a good understanding of Chinese culture before? Xiaolin Meishu suddenly restrained her smile and gave him a faint glance. But Li Bai's everlasting longing for each other doesn't seem to be suitable here. Originally, unconsciously, Jufu Jingguang had already spoken out the thoughts in his mind. He couldn't help but get stuck. Wait, what were you thinking just now? Surprisingly, he said such almost teasing words to his kind-hearted senior sister who helped him. Hug, sorry, because my older brother at home enjoys studying ancient Chinese literature, I learned more about it, but I didn't get to know it as deeply. Jufu Jingguang lowered his head in shame. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Why apologize? Xiaolin Meishu still had a smile on her face, but her tone sounded a bit strange. She glanced at the clock on the wall and said, It's almost time for class, Jufu Jun. Yes. Excuse me. Jufu Jingguang breathed a slight sigh of relief and immediately ran towards the direction of the classroom. Woo-woo, my senior sister's aura is so strong. 0, save me. Gently closing the door of the health room, Meishu Kobayashi walked out. At this time, there are usually not many people in the health room, so she can relax and take the opportunity to come out and bask in the sun. Hello, Senior Xiaolin. Good afternoon, Senior Xiaolin. The young students ran towards the direction of the classroom in twos and threes, and saw that Xiaolin Meishu greeted her warmly, while she herself, as usual, responded gently to everyone. Good afternoon, Yume Sauce. We need to speed up, Murata Jun. Senior Kobayashi is so gentle, I really like it. The energetic girl Yumi Yamashita excitedly shook her friends around her, her eyes constantly filled with peach hearts. You're right. With a hedgehog head, the somewhat stunned boy Murata Chong showed a look of longing. The beautiful and kind-hearted Senior Kobayashi, the goddess in the hearts of all the boys in the police academy, seems to be still single at the moment. Who wouldn't be tempted? However, the sudden ringing of the bell interrupted their brainstorming, and Yume shouted loudly, "No, this class is for Instructor Gizuka. It's a dead end now, run quickly." Watching the few people running wildly, Kobayashi Meishu sighed with envy. Youth is so good, host, your current body is only 1 year older than theirs, and this kind of old-fashioned lament is truly a bit of a Versailles. The system's reminder pulled back Kobayashi's distant thoughts. Xiao-yi in her mind, Meishu Kobayashi's voice appeared particularly cold. You probably didn't act on your own just now, did you? The system trembled for a moment. No. Really. The tone of the system was a bit flustered, at most, it just added a little bit of dreamy sweetness. Didn't I say it before? Don't use those props casually, otherwise, if it causes the opposite effect of reducing favorability like last time. Kobayashi Meishu smashed the nearby utility pole with a punch, threatening with words, that's what's going to happen. Ah, haha. I dare not, absolutely not. The system shrank into a ball while holding its head. When she first arrived at the police academy, she was still adapting to her current identity when Xiao-yi added 2 props produced by the system, the built-in filter and the Xiangfei physique. The latter's built-in fragrance immediately attracted the attention of most people, and the scene became chaotic. Damn it! She quickly opened the task progress, and as expected, the target character's favorability was all 0.5. How could this be? It shouldn't be. Isn't this thing supposed to increase the favorability of the opposite sex? How could it actually decrease? Fool, the most important task of the police is to ensure the safety of people's lives and maintain social order. It's strange that you suddenly act like this and disrupt order. They will have a favorable impression. Realizing that she had messed up the system, she panicked and ran to seek her help. As a result, she was forced to sign an unequal treaty, emphasizing that during the mission, the hosts should prevail and not be enforced. Subsequently, at her request, the system retrieved the item Xiangfei Constitution, while she herself used the excuse of developing drugs to smooth over the previous chaos. Sure enough, the target's favorability has returned to normal levels. Be good, just follow me. Completing the task earlier is beneficial for both of us, isn't it? You can level up quickly, and I can also get out of here faster. Yes, Kobayashi Meishu nodded with satisfaction, her eyes flickering with a dark light. She would never let that guy go. Xiaolin Meishu, whose real name is Linlang, was an ancient fast-wearing counter-attack tasker who was promoted too quickly, which attracted his peers' jealousy and backstabbing. The design put her in the anime task, and changed the original power system into a new palace duel system that had never even performed a task. The props are useless. Because the task of the fast wearer is linked to the system properties, she has to accept the task of obtaining the popularity of the main characters in the anime world. Don't you always look down on us people who rely on beauty to complete tasks? Then go try it out yourself. See if you can still stand up. A sharp and crazy voice still lingered in Linlang's ear, and she pouted in disgust. There was a ghost in her heart, and all people were ghosts. She had never expressed dissatisfaction or looked down upon her before. It was actually just herself who truly looked down upon her. However, once the mission is initiated, it cannot be exited midway. Since we must complete the task no matter what, let's do it well. So she arrived at her first mission world, the world of Detective Conan. Police Academy team. Does Conan have this part inside? When Linlang first heard the introduction of the system, she was still a bit puzzled. She had also watched this classic anime before, which mainly focused on detective and case plots. However, with a long history, she couldn't remember the plot clearly. She only occasionally saw topics such as Kobayashi and 73 leading the war, during the break time in the middle of the mission, which was basically a black eye for the story of the Police Academy team. Of course there is. In my mind, the cat mimicking the system jumped and jumped. Have you seen the 12 million hostages in the shocking police station? The bomb disposal police officer inside, Matsuda Junpei, who died in service, and how many people's white moonlight are from the Police Academy team. I seem to have a slight impression of it. Linlang recalled in her mind the image of a young man with fair skin, sunglasses on, and curly hair holding a cigarette. It was him. The scene of calmly dying at the last moment is really unforgettable. That's right, he's a member of the Police Academy team. Moreover, the main character that emerged later, Bobbin from the Black Organization, was also an undercover agent sent by the Police Academy team. In addition, just now, the various Fu Jingguang were the same, but unfortunately, he also passed away young. As she spoke, the cat's tone gradually faded. In addition, Kenji Hagihara and Ida Hang from the 5-member team of the Police Academy also died on duty, and in the end, only 5.4 of them were left with no one left, which is really regrettable. So, you think physical abuse is not enough, let me give them another heart abuse. Linlang looked at the crying cat and asked inexplicably, after gaining their favor, I will go directly to the next mission. It seems more cruel than their original fate, right? I suddenly don't understand your idea. The ending was slightly raised, and although it was a gentle touch, the cat couldn't help but shiver. No, not really. I just want to see them, the cat said. And the host can completely change their fate and save them. Oh. This is not within the scope of the task. Oh. Don't be so heartless. Please help the host and save them. Let me do anything. The cat couldn't help but explode its fur. So, how about we divide the points into 3 or 7 points, and we divide them into 3 or 7 points. The cat hesitated for a moment. For a level 1 cute new system, points mean its wealth and life. Transaction. Linlang clapped her hands and returned to her current persona. The gentle and kind-hearted Meishu sister, walking towards her stronghold, no, it's a workplace, and the health room. She opened the task list in her mind. Goal 1. Ida Airlines favorite rating. 20, hello, stranger, Goal 2. Matsuda Junpei favorite rating. 20, hello, stranger, Goal 3. Hagihara Kenji favorite rating. 20, hello, stranger, Goal 4. Reduce Valley to 0 favorite rating. 25, strangers who have heard of it, Goal 5. Various Fu Jingguang favorite rating. 30, a beautiful and kind-hearted senior sister, why is there a question mark at Shinchan's place, Xiao Doma bag, perhaps you scared him just now. Xiao Yi said weakly. This way Linlang suddenly smiled, but how could this smile make people shiver? How could he be a good police officer with such timidity? Let me, a beautiful and kind-hearted senior sister, help him. After speaking, she picked up a string of keys and walked straight out of the room. Host, what are you doing? Stay calm, host. Chapter 2. Nonsense is really useful. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. On the bustling streets, Linlang changed into her usual lady dress, dressed in a leather jacket and pants of a racing enthusiast, painted a little devil makeup, and rode her beloved motorcycle towards the rarely seen mountain outside the city. Host, you. You're not going to trouble Jingguang anymore. Xiao Yi raised her paw and asked cautiously. Why bother him? Linlang asked in reverse. Xiao Yi breathed a sigh of relief. The aggressive posture of the host just now really scared it. However, Linlang's next sentence brought up Xiao Yi's heart again. It's not my working time anymore, Linlang said as if nothing had happened. Next time, I'll just go down with a dream talisman and not worry about not being able to rectify it. Are you still saying you don't want to trouble him? I feel like the demonic aura is spreading out from behind the host. Hey. But now, I just want to have a good ride. After speaking, she pressed the accelerator all the way down and wandered in the world of the wind, as if her freedom was within reach. Host, please slow down, me. I feel dizzy and nauseous. The soft orange kitten showed its mosquito-repellent eyes and wandered in Linlang's mind several times, but the whole cat was not doing well. That's your illusion, isn't it? The system doesn't even have a body, how could it be motion sickness? Linlang said without changing her expression. Also, that's right, the cat's fleshy paws patted its cheek, trying to make it clearer. Also, don't make that kind of vomiting sound in my mind. There's already footage. Woo-woo, they don't even want it. Besides being coquettish, what else can you do? Really, I don't know where that guy Baishi got such a weird system from. Linlang is speechless. No, the Luan family is very capable. Also, did you collapse your character as the host? The cat's ears twitched slightly. TSK, the little thing is really cute. It would be even better if you didn't speak up. No. No. Yes. Have you forgotten the hidden information of my identity? Linlang couldn't help but roll her eyes. Also, no matter how powerful the ability to disguise is, I won't be able to bear it over time. Do you think being a close sister is so easy? How did the host solve the previous tasks? The cat's bright blue eyes exude a hint of innocence. Find an opportunity to let go of yourself. Isn't everyone doing this? Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to hold on for a long time. Moreover, every time a task is completed, the task taker will block their previous emotions to avoid affecting the subsequent tasks, which is also for the sake of mental health. Also, my previous system would customize tasks according to my needs, selecting tasks that didn't have many emotional connections or even none. Even if they did, I would just cut them off. Isn't it good to pursue a career? Host Cow Batch. One person, one system, chatting aimlessly in their minds, frantically racing around this mountain for several times until the sky gradually darkened before finally returning to Tokyo. As a doctor hired by the police academy, Linlang's residence is naturally within the academy. Due to the strict regulations of the police academy. Therefore, Linlang reserved half an hour for herself, intending to purchase some supplies outside and then ride her bike back. However, the plan cannot keep up with the changes. At the corner, a young junior high school girl was stopped in the alley by 3 thugs. Hey, little girl, let's play with my brother. The leader, Huang Mao, reached out his hand to the girl who was scared to tears, but was suddenly kicked and flew directly to the other wall. Scum! Die to the side for me. Linlang withdrew his legs and hooked his hand contemptuously at the other 2 stunned attendants. If I don't beat you up today, I'll just give you my surname. Up. There are 2 of us, are you afraid she won't be able to do either? The other 2 of them summed up for a moment, but still rushed forward with determination. Then, they were knocked unconscious and disoriented by a lightning strike from Linlang. Angry and charming, hitting people online. 5 minutes later, Linlang walked out with the girl in a clear and energetic manner. Thank you. The girl seemed to be impressed by Linlang's handsome figure, but due to her naturally timid personality, she only said one sentence. Easy to handle. By the way, be careful next time. Remember to walk in crowded places, it's really not possible. It's also good to learn some self-defense skills. Linlang sighed, after all, Mihua Town is a very dangerous place. That's right, Mihuacho in Tokyo, a mysterious area shrouded in the shadow of a Grim Reaper elementary school student 7 years later. Wherever the god of death approaches, the case follows like a shadow. To survive in such a place, one must have sufficient self-protection ability. The girl was a bit confused, but still nodded obediently. Subsequently, the two parted ways. At the corner. Hello Hagi, didn't you say you were going to buy batteries? Why did you get here? Curly Matsuda looked at Hagihara Kenji, who was hiding and exploring, and patted his shoulder. Well, because I accidentally caught a familiar figure, I came over to take a look. The handsome man with long hair turned around and supported his chin with one hand, his mouth showing an ambiguous smile. I didn't expect there to be any unexpected gains. If you heard me right, the voice of the cool girl just now seems to be somewhat similar to that of Senior Kobayashi in the police academy's health room. Although he is different from the other party in terms of clothing, makeup, and even personality, he is very confident that it is Senior Kobayashi. As for the basis of judgment, the scent on women's bodies is very unique, and as someone with the title of female friend, I have gained some experience in identifying body shape and coughing. Can there be such a big difference in personality among the same person? It's really interesting. Hagiwara Kenji was suddenly aroused with interest. What came to mind, laughing so wildly? Matsuda couldn't help but shake his shoulders as he looked at his friend's mischievous expression. Oh, is Zayazamping jealous? Hagihara smiled and hugged him. Stay at Jubuk, you will always be at the forefront of my heart. Don't use that mouth-watering trick on me, you guy. Matsuda rudely pushed Hagihara's head away. Alright, if you don't go back, the school gate will be locked. I don't want to climb over the wall. You're right. Two big boys were playfully walking back all the way. Then, not long after, they saw a figure struggling to push the cart not far away. Oh my, this is really, saying that Chow Chow has arrived. Hagihara squinted his eyes and laughed silently. Host, you. The cat couldn't help but speak, but was suddenly interrupted by Linlang. Shut up, this is just a temporary malfunction. No one can predict an event outside of the situation. Linlang felt a bit embarrassed and angry. The cat Xiaoyi hesitated to speak. What kind of expression are you on? The car just forgot to refuel, is it rare? Why not go to the gas station, I'm just looking. Linlang looked to the left and said, it's definitely right, it's over there. After speaking, she will walk towards that direction. Amelon. Host, that direction is. Has this beautiful little sister encountered any trouble? Hagihara Kenji flashed flexibly and approached Linlang. Who are you? Do I know you? Linlang pouted and planned to go around directly. Wait, host, this is Hagihara Kenji, one of the police academy teams. The cat is frightened. If left unchecked, your favorability will decrease. The car is out of gas, Linlang said, as her body stiffened and she reluctantly stopped in her tracks to leave. Ah, I see. Hagihara gentlemanly took the car from Linlang's hand. I know there's a gas station nearby. Do I need to take you there? Matsuda let out a tisk. Here we go again, casually chatting up girls on the roadside is already the basic operation of one's own friends. If this thought could be used in his regular training, he would have already won first place. How could he still turn to that blonde and black-skinned guy? Speaking of this blonde jerk. Oh, by the way, it's the kid named Xianggu Zero. We had previously agreed to negotiate with him tonight. If we keep talking like this, we might not be able to make it. So he had to speak out to remind him. Hagi, are you going to be late? Hagihara keenly noticed that the girl in front of him also paused for a moment. It's okay, Zaya's Hanping. If you have something to do, you can go back first. Hagihara winked at his young trainer and then turned his attention to Linlang in front of him. By the way, my name is Hagihara Kenji. What about you, little sister? Naishu, just call me Naishu. Linlang slowly uttered a name. That's right. She has a good script this time. She plays two personalities of sisters. She is not afraid at all. Mural's sister and irritable older sister, she really prefers irritable older sister herself. However, Jingfen was momentarily satisfied and hit the target, resulting in a crematorium. Just as it was about to begin, she bumped into Kenji Hagihara, who is said to be known for his delicate mind. This luck is also out of nowhere. It's Zayanexu. Hagihara looked at Linlang in front of him thoughtfully. Then let's go. He took out his student ID and said, don't worry, I'm a student from the nearby police academy, and my reputation is absolutely guaranteed. Moreover, it's already late at night, and the girl is not safe alone. I will take you to your place of residence later. Poor. It's not necessary. Linlang had no waves on her face, but she had already put on a bitter melon face in her heart. What she wants to return to later is the same police academy. If this is discovered, we must immediately drop our horses. It's okay, it's already late anyway. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit more or less. Hagihara enthusiastically pushed her small motorcycle off as she spoke. See Gao-e, this is the legendary social bull. It's so terrifying. The cat rolled excitedly. Damn it, he actually got me. The police academy team really can't be underestimated. Linlang supported her forehead. I have been doing tasks in ancient times, but in modern times, I still feel a bit uncomfortable. As expected, setting the first task to a simple mode is not unreasonable. Host, come on, you can do it. The cat found a flag prop from somewhere and kept waving it in its mind, cheering her on. You're quite energetic, Xiaoyi. Linlang chuckled and said. I'll do my best to deal with Hagihara later, we won't talk for now. Understand. Quickly, the two arrived at the refueling station and handed over the car to the boss. While waiting, the two began chatting. Speaking of which, Zayanexu looks very much like someone I know. Hajiwara suddenly spoke up. Really? That's quite a coincidence. Linlang calmed down. Anyway, we've all bumped into each other. What else can we do? Just keep talking. A car must have a way to the front of the mountain. If you don't reach the Great Wall, you are not a hero. Ah bah, there's a string of words. That person is our senior sister from the previous class and now serves as a doctor at our police academy, Hagihara said directly. The other person's name is Kobayashi Meishu, and their name is also very similar to Naishu's. Ah, it's really a coincidence. Linlang's innocent face. That's why, at the beginning, I mistook Xiao Naishu for Meishu's sister, because she is very similar. Hagihara said half-jokingly, are you really not a sister's, or a relative or something? Linlang stopped in his tracks. There's a saying that I've been wanting to say since the beginning. She looked up. Are handsome guys using such cliché methods to approach each other now? Sigh. Hajiwara bean eyes. I'm not really trying to strike up a conversation. Also, isn't that Xiaolin Meishu your ex-girlfriend or something like that? Linlang carried out a mischievous spirit. Isn't it difficult to have a stand in literature in this way? What is this all about? He didn't understand at all. Hagihara looked bewildered. I've seen so many people like you. I want to follow girls home under the guise of a police academy, but I don't know what I'm thinking yet. I'm not a scammer. Hagihara waved his hands repeatedly. That's not important. Linlang interrupted the other person. Anyway, my difficulties have been solved, so don't follow me anymore. After speaking, Hagihara was thrown out. That's right, gently lift it up like a cat and throw it out. Immediately after, the roar of the locomotive rang out, and Linlang quickly completed a series of actions such as checking out, driving, and leaving only Hagihara Kenji in a daze in the same place. Wow, I finally got rid of him. Nonsense of words really works, you never deceive me a certain time. But will this affect Hagiwara's favorability? Don't worry, there won't be any problem. What's the matter with Meishu about the trouble caused by Naishu? But both of them are you, Anyway, let's go back and talk about it first. Linlang awkwardly changed the topic. In short, at this stage, you still need to firmly hold on to your vest. If the vest falls off too early, it will be meaningless. Cat. Quietly jotting down a few words in my little notebook. Today's host guidebook. Lu Chi, a bit uncomfortable with emotions, but unexpectedly very reliable. Chapter 3. Shadow Plus 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hashtag to avoid confusion, starting from the next chapter, the female protagonist in this volume will use the name Meishu uniformly. All conversations between the female lead and the system are marked in the form of hashtag at night, when the moon is dark and the wind is high, climbing over the wall is ongoing. Linlang squatted on the trunk of the tree, looked left and right, and made sure there were not many people around. He jumped and rolled lightly, and smoothly returned to the police academy. There's no way, the door has already been locked. And she lowered her head and glanced at herself, which looked like the clothes of a delinquent student. This kind of dress may not be very convenient for walking through the main entrance. Successfully returned to the dormitory, finished washing and changing clothes, Linlang stood on the windowsill, holding a bottle of milk, enjoying the tranquility of the night. On a quiet night, the spring breeze is gentle, the cherry blossoms are like snow, and the moonlight is like water. I don't know if they can see the same moon in another world. He took a sip of the milk in his hand and swallowed it, along with the nostalgia and vulnerability in his eyes. Sooner or later, she will feel all her regrets and return to her parents. With this thought, her thoughts became even more firm. Bang! Ha! Under the cherry blossom tree downstairs, a strange movement came out and caught Linlang's attention. Anyway, I won't be able to sleep anymore. Why don't we go down and take a look? She neatly draped a coat over her nightgown and went downstairs. Take a deep breath. At this moment I am the character of Meishu Kobayashi, a kind-hearted sister like a mural. After being mentally prepared, she walked downstairs and looked up to see an unidentified object flying towards her. Scared. What is Denkei? She quickly dodged to the side, and upon closer inspection, she realized it was a front tooth. What? Senior Kobayashi. Seeing someone mistakenly enter the scene of his fight with Matsuda, Nishitaka took the initiative to stop. He was somewhat surprised, but more so was the embarrassment of being caught. It should be noted that private fights are prohibited among students in the police academy, and it is precisely because of this that even if he was very angry about Matsuda's words during the day, he did not get angry. Instead, he made an appointment with the other party to have a hearty fight when no one was around at night. It's not over yet, blonde bastard. Matsuda covered his swollen left cheek from the beating, waving his hard fist, and angrily launched an attack towards Kanaga Zero. Surprisingly, that guy knocked out a false tooth. Shoo, I have some skills. But if you want to give up on this, it's impossible. Immersed in a competitive mentality, Matsuda Matsudaira was completely unaware that there was suddenly an extra person on the battlefield between the two. Of course, this was also because Kobayashi Meishu stood under a cherry blossom tree slightly behind the two. The cherry pink coat and scattered cherry blossoms were completely integrated, and it was difficult to distinguish them without careful examination. Is it the Lord of Jianggu? Almost as much time as Matsuda rushed over, Kobayashi Meishu, out of courtesy, took a few steps forward when she heard the words of Kanagawa Zero. She happened to be in Matsuda's forward position, in front of Kanagawa Zero. So, the fighting incident escalated once again and was about to evolve into a traffic accident scene at a T-shaped intersection. Danger, be careful. Jianggu Zero Kang's hand, however, it was already too late. Bang! Matsuda Masahiro, the accelerating vehicle, collided head-on with a small animal named Meishu that had emerged midway. Suddenly, Meishu felt countless birds spinning and chirping on her head as she spun around in a whirlwind immediately after. All one could see was a pitch-black soil ground, accompanied by the fragrance of grass and a few scattered cherry blossom petals, as if foreshadowing one's future destiny. She's about to land on her face now. It's going to be scattered into mud like cherry blossoms. Don't be afraid of the host, just treat it like making mud membranes in his mind. Xiaoyi suddenly uttered such a sentence, blocking Meishu's original breath. Cow. She originally intended to use lightness skills to stabilize her core and avoid it, but when this guy said this, she was powerless again. Now it's really going to be GG. Immediately after, she felt herself tightly embraced by someone, and then only heard a muffled groan as she collided with a sturdy chest. Ha! Did you not fall to the ground? She slowly lifted her head and saw the curly-haired man sitting under her, grinning in pain. It was Matsuda Masahiro. Heroes save the beauty Wooly, the formation is really a little angel. Host, hurry up. Come on, hurry up. Kiss him. Kiss him. Shut up, you. Originally, there was still a small heart that was caught up in the plot of an idol drama, but when Xiaoyi shouted, it instantly dissipated into thin air. Xiaoyi, scratching his head. Gah. Did I do something wrong again? The warm and soft touch passed through Matsuda's mind through his palm, and his nose could vaguely smell a damp and fresh jasmine fragrance after bathing. His fine and smooth black hair hung down and gently swept over his face. This is a girl. The temperature of his subordinates instantly became scorching hot. Matsuda Mizuhii panicked and wanted to stand up straight, but due to his excessive movements, he suffered a bruise on his lower back and his center of gravity became unstable, causing him to fall towards the ground. Then, just halfway through her rise, Meishu died prematurely and was once again swayed down by Matsuda. The situation has flipped again, and this time she is at the bottom. A towering mountain, Xiaolin Meishu pressed her hands against her, ready to cry without tears. Too heavy. Got it. Why is this guy so heavy? Gorilla. You are. Stay calm, and maintain your character. After persuading herself so much, Xiaolin Meishu finally reluctantly let out a gentle greeting. This curly-haired student, are you okay? With a delicate and radiant face and gentle whispers, Matsuda's gaze shifted downwards with the source of the sound, and he saw lips as soft and rosy as cherries. It looks like it's delicious. Matsuda's face turned red and he couldn't help but smile. Not bad, it's okay. So, can we get up first? Xiaolin Meishu felt her arms starting to tingle, gritting her teeth and asking, I can't hold on anymore. Ah. Matsuda Seihei finally regained consciousness, immediately stood up, and then reached out his hand to Kobayashi Meishu. By the way, from the moment it happened to the end, it only took less than half a minute, so until now, the arrival of Jianggu Zero has been delayed. Sorry, Sister Xiaolin, Jiang Guling extended his hand to her on the other side, I'll help you up first. So, the current situation has become Matsuda Junpei on the left and Kanagawa Zero on the right, both of whom want to help her up. Element awareness. Xiao Yi suddenly became energetic. Shura field. It's a Shura field. It's the first time the Luan family has faced Shura field, so excited and excited. Come on, host, make a choice. Fix a ghost. It's just a simple help, don't think too much. Could you please? Xiaolin Meishu nodded and stood up easily with one hand on the other. Thanks to Matsuda's blessings, she didn't suffer any injuries. However, from what just happened, this body is still relatively weak, agile and lacking in strength. Except for a few moments when it can burst out instantly, other training may not last long. Well, after all, the Luan family is a palace fighting system, and when choosing their identity, they tend to be petite, delicate, and boneless. It is said that such a physique can bring the other party extreme happiness and happiness at specific times. Military strongholds should not speak out loud. After artificially banning the system of free speech, Meishu breathed a long sigh of relief, and if she continued to speak, she would not be able to pass the review. Thank you, Jianggu Jun, curly hair Jun. After adjusting her mindset, Meishu Kobayashi still thanked the two of them according to her original persona. Actually, we should apologize. We accidentally got our senior sister into danger, Jianggu said with some pride. As long as senior sister doesn't blame us. After speaking, he also gave Matsuda a wink and signaled him to say something. Well, that's it. Matsuda stroked his messy hair with a hint of impatience in his tone. Being caught in a fight, not to mention almost hitting someone, and there was no clear winner. What a terrible situation. Okay, then, Meishu Kobayashi didn't fuss too much. Do you two need to go to the health room to have your wounds treated? Isn't it too troublesome? Jianggu Zero was somewhat moved. It's okay, it's my responsibility to ensure the physical health of the police academy students, Meishu smiled very gently. And if you handle it yourself, in case something goes wrong. Tomorrow morning, there will be intensive training in the Ghost Tomb class. Then I'll leave it to my senior sister. Jianggu Zero couldn't help but start sweating as he saw the scene of Gazuka instructor being irritable and training people in his mind. Take off your clothes and lie down. Kobayashi Meishu opened the door of the health room and issued this command to Matsuda. What are you saying? Matsuda couldn't help but blush when he heard such words about tigers and wolves. There is obvious bruising on the lower back, and there may also be abrasions on the back, said Kobayashi Meishu, who had entered a professional state. If we don't handle it, running will become a problem, curly hair Jun. But. Or do you want Jianggu Jun to come and help? Meishu's eyes lit up. Perhaps this is a good idea. Take the opportunity to chat and resolve the conflict between us. Dama. Matsuda firmly expressed his refusal. Just kidding, if the black-skinned kid comes to help, I'm afraid his waist won't be cut off. Also, don't give anyone a nickname without authorization. Hey. My name is Matsuda Junpei, please remember it for me. Good curly-haired gentleman. It's Matsuda. You're right, curly-hair lord. After a few rounds, Matsuda remained silent with a black face. Although that blonde jerk's name can be remembered, but unfortunately she can't remember her own name, she must be intentional. Kobayashi Meishu took out alcohol and safflower oil from the medical kit and placed them on the table. So, Jianggu Jun, could you sit next to me for a while? Cough, no problem, senior sister, you should deal with Curly Mao Jun first, after all, his injuries are quite serious. Jiang Tano covered her mouth and chuckled beside her, only to be glanced at by Matsuda. What are you looking at? Look at you. Between eye contact, there was a faint flicker of electricity, and the smoke of battle reignited. Matsuda was about to get up and take action, but was gently held down by Kobayashi Meishu on the back of his neck. A demonic yet chilling tone sounded in my ear, sorry, can you please don't move around? I don't want to smell the barbecue today. Her other hand held an alcohol lamp. Barbecue. No, it doesn't mean what he thinks. Matsuda couldn't help but swallow his saliva and obediently lay down. Disinfect, press, knead, and warm fingertips touch and exert force beyond sight. Matsuda's nerves tighten like strings, being picked up, plucked, and played by the fingers of those behind him. His body unconsciously begins to tense up. Seemingly sensing his nervousness, Kobayashi Meishu began to divert his attention through conversation. Curly hair lord, why are you fighting with Jianggu lord? Because I can't stand it, Matsuda glared at Tanya. He always puts on a proud appearance of being a police officer, which is really infuriating. Ha! You're the one who can't be understood. Jianggu was also stunned. If you can't stand the police, why should you apply to a police academy? You guy. Stop. Kobayashi Meishu first pressed the head of Kanagawa Noa back, and then, unintentionally, pressed the numb muscle on Matsuda's arm, interrupting his attempt to get up. Skip this topic, she said, so, are cherry blossoms beautiful? Curly hair lord. This topic jumps a bit fast. Are the cherry blossoms there just now? They're pretty good, aren't they? Matsuda replied in confusion. On the top of the willow branches on the moon, when people meet in the evening, Xiaolin Meishu chuckled lightly. Even if you choose a place with such a beautiful scenery, the two of you are very interesting. That's not it. Nishi Kanagawa and Matsuda Seihei suddenly blushed. Even if they don't understand the meaning of the previous ancient poem, they still understand the charm and other things. They're not in that kind of relationship. I didn't expect Xiaolin, who looked gentle, to be such a wicked person. Sure enough, Jingguan was right. Alright, Matsuda Jun's wound has been treated. Meishu looked at Kawaguchi Zero beside her. So, Kawaguchi Jun. Yes. Jianggu Zero grinned, revealing the standard 8 teeth. I just had a simple disinfection treatment on the wound. Senior sister just needs to provide me with some band-aids. Let me take a look. Meishu observed closely and nodded, well done, you can see that you have a lot of experience. Did you often get injured before? As she spoke, Meishu gently applied the bandage to the wound on Jianggu's face. That's true. The smell of disinfectant accompanied the fragrance of the woman's hair, and Jianggu Zero vaguely remembered the person in her memory. Dr. Elena, this won't work, Xiaolin Meishu frowned slightly. As a police officer, how can we protect others if we don't even cherish ourselves? Well, I know, thank you, senior sister, said Jianggu Zero. My senior sister is very warm, like Dr. Elena. You're welcome, if you get hurt again next time. Kobayashi Meishu picked up a large syringe and shook it slightly. You are always welcome in the health room, she said Nishihiro Kanagawa and Matsuda Mizuhei. You won't get hurt easily. Chapter 4. Unclear matters shall be handled as if nothing had happened. You are listening at novelfull.audio. BB. The gathering whistle sounded, and the new students of the Ghost Tune class lined up in unison, waiting for the instructor's lecture. Matsuda, Jianggu, stand out. Yashizuka Yasuo looked at the two people who were just like usual and felt something strange. Yes. The two people who were called up suddenly straightened their backs and took a step forward. With this movement, Gizuka Babashir noticed the clues and said, Matsuda, why is your movement slower than usual? Also, Jianggu, I haven't seen you for a day. Why do I feel like your face has become bigger? The instructor puzzled and turned around the two of them twice. That's natural. Did you get beaten up and swollen? Jianggu Zero sighed slightly in his heart. Yesterday, Xiaolin not only promised to keep it a secret for them, but also worried that the injuries on their faces would be exposed. She deliberately used makeup to cover them up. But this effect, it has to be said, really surprised him. Before he set off today, Hai specially looked in the mirror. Apart from makeup, his face looked more round than usual, and there were no signs of injury. Although you can rest assured, these are all natural and pollution-free cosmetics. Not only will they not cause damage to the skin, but they can also accelerate blood circulation and help your wounds recover quickly. Well, although the efficacy of professional drugs is not comparable for the time being. The woman, dressed in a cherry-colored long coat, gently smeared and comforted the two of their faces, saying, "Just keep it a day. You will probably have practical classes afterwards. You can ask your friends to help you find a reason for the wound. As for curling Mao Jun's dentures, accidentally hitting them while eating baked goods may be a suitable excuse." Xiaolin Meishu smiled slightly. "Does it sound very experienced, senior?" Matsuda Seihei couldn't help but ask back. "Yeah, because my friends around me have indeed encountered this kind of thing. And, don't look at me like this, I used to be a thorn in the teacher's eyes." Sigh. "I can't imagine it at all." Jiangu Zero was somewhat surprised. People always change. Under the moonlight, a hint of nostalgia and melancholy appeared on Kobayashi Meishu's face, as if she had remembered some bad memories. But then she forced herself again, "But no matter what happens, don't forget your original dream. Only in this way can we live with hope. Is the fragility of that moment just now an illusion?" Sure enough, she is a somewhat mysterious senior. Returning to his thoughts, facing the question from the instructor of Gazuka, Kanagawa Zero gave his own answer. Report. "Maybe it's because I drank too much water yesterday, so I had some swelling." What about Matsuda? Report, "It's because I accidentally dodged my waist while moving things." Moving things. Yoshihide Yashizuka looked at Matsuda with confusion. "What did you go and move?" "Well, class monitor Ida Hang stood up in time, it's because cockroaches appeared in the dormitory yesterday. In order to facilitate cockroach hunting, I asked Matsuda to help me move the bed to the other side. So, let's continue training as usual. Ida, organize everyone well. Matsuda, are you okay?" "Yes. No problem." The two of them, who had successfully passed the test, began their daily training. However, their abnormality still did not hide from their own friends. "Hey, Xiao Zhanping, what's wrong with your teeth?" Hagihara ran after Matsuda and asked curiously, "Also, did you put on makeup on your face? Why does it look even whiter than usual? Not only that, but there is also a fragrant scent." He leaned closer and sniffed the scent. "With a scent of medicine, are you injured?" "I just had a fight with that blonde bastard," Matsuda said with a dead eye and continued running. "Ah, who won?" Hagihara's eyes lit up. "Of course it's me. It's me." On the other hand, facing the inquiries of Zhufu Jingguang, Nishitani also quietly revealed his fight with Matsuda and believed that he was the winner. "What are you saying? The winner is clearly me." *2 Do you two have a good understanding? Idahong, who was tall and burly on the side, suddenly put his arm on their shoulders from behind. "No matter who wins, since we are in the same class, let's get along well. Hey, you guys, give me good training." Yashizuka Yatso shouted from a distance. "Yes. It seems that your class has a few thorns this year, Heizo." The instructor from the neighboring class gloated and patted the shoulder of Shizuka Heizo. "You have some to endure." "Really, these guys are really headache-inducing." Yoshihide Yashizuka grabbed his colleague and began to complain. "That long-haired guy, Kenji Hagihara, has strong insight and communication skills, but this ability has been used by him to talk to girls. Matsuda Junpei, who has curly hair, has one of the best fighting abilities among this generation of freshmen, but his personality is a bit lacking. The one with golden hair is also the representative of this year's new generation, with a drop of 0. However, everything is quite good, but there are some aspects that are too persistent." The boy with blue eyes next to him, Zhufu Jingguang, has a brother who works as a police officer, and his personality and abilities are all very good, but it seems that he has not yet been able to shake off the shadow of his parents. Class monitor Ida Hang, a child from a police family, has strong organizational and leadership skills, but he doesn't have much to deal with his retired father. Listen and listen, the instructor from the neighboring class has already started to wander around. What's that? I'll go see the kids in my class. You're busy first. Ba Tsang is such a talkative guy. Forget it, let's find a chance to slip away first. Good morning, Jufu Jun, Jianggu Jun. Ah, curly-haired Jun is also very energetic today. Good morning, Miss Xiaolin. *3 Kobayashi Meishu passed by the training ground holding a few books and accidentally caught a glimpse of several acquaintances from the Ghost Tomb class, nodding at them. Ah, Teacher Gizuka, good morning. Your body is still as healthy as ever. Ah, it's Xiaolin. Are you going to the health room? Yes, it is. Then go ahead and take care of yourself. You can rest assured. The sunrise shot out from the clouds, and the sky was bright. The soft sunlight reflected on the playground, and the young people were sweating and running non-stop towards their goals. Kobayashi Meishu walked on a road that had not been covered by sunlight, her long black hair masking her expression. From a distance, she felt a sense of disconnection from the whole world. This child hasn't let go of that matter yet. Gizuka Yatso sighed. Matsuda, who was running, was suddenly wrapped around his neck by Kenji Hagihara, posing as an interrogator. Xiao Junping, be honest, when did you meet Miss Kobayashi behind my back? From the situation just greeted, it can be seen that Xiaolin's attitude towards the three of them is clearly different from the others, especially her own young tamer, who even received the unique nickname, Curly Hair Lord. And yesterday, I was treated so rudely by someone with the same face as Xiaolin. How can it be repaired? Speaking of which, Xiaolin didn't react much when she saw him just now, as if she didn't know him. Is it difficult? Did you really mistake someone? What's your big reaction for? Matsuda looked at Hagi puzzled. No, as a patient, isn't it normal to know a doctor? Patient. Fujiwara Ichiro, who was in the same class, suddenly appeared behind the two of them, emitting a mournful voice like a ghost behind their backs. As both patients, my senior sister called them polite Jufu Jun and Jianggu Jun, but calling them you is different. Speaking of which, Matsuda became angry. No way. I said it. I even said my own name. I can call the right name to everyone else, but it's not right for me. Sure enough, that guy is targeting me, right? Hagihara Kenji covered his face. That guy. Targeting. Fujiwara's body emitted a faint black gas, and he suddenly looked up with bloodshot eyes. You really dare to say that? Being greeted by a senior sister alone and having an exclusive nickname, this treatment is like heaven, but it's actually being targeted. Matsuda Haihei. Duel with me. Ha. Matsuda was completely stunned. No, this student, are you mentally sound? Immediately after, his pride as a boxer ignited his fighting spirit again. Isn't it just a duel? Come on. As soon as the words fell, the other members of the Gizuka class also stood behind Fujiwara and said in unison, let's duel. Matsuda Seihei. Ah, this even though Matsuda has always been belligerent, he was shocked by this posture and couldn't speak. What are you waiting for? Run quickly. Hagihara Kenji grabbed Matsuda Junpei and ran wildly. Stop. So impressive. The scattered scenery on the side, the Valley Zero, and Idahong couldn't help but let out a sigh as they watched the farce. Xiao Yi, take a look at the progress of the task for me. Yes, host. Goal 1. Ida Airlines favorite rating. 22, popular girl, goal 2. Matsuda Junpei favorite rating. 30, stupid person with the wrong name, goal 3. Hagihara Kenji favorite rating. 25, 4 girls with some secrets, goal 4. Reduce Valley to 0 favorite rating. 30, very similar to a girl in first love, goal 5. Various Fu Jing Guang favorite rating. 40, a helpful senior sister. It seems like something terrible has infiltrated inside Hei. Falling to 0, what's wrong with you? Also, the scenery of the various Fu scenes. Excuse me, I wish you and 0 happiness. As for curly hair. Humph, he doesn't deserve a name because he deserves it. Xiaolin Meishu, with her back facing the window, exclaimed in her mind. So what, about the first love of falling into 0 Valley? I am completely uninterested. Kobayashi Meishu directly cut off the system's conversation locally. Also, if it's not a major event involving their lives, it's best not to give me a spoiler. No matter what, when you have learned about someone else's experience and outcome in advance, and then examine and judge the current person, it inevitably brings a hint of arrogance. This is a common human disease. Ace honey, that's arsenic. Sometimes, self-proclaimed kindness actually brings more trouble to others, and such people are more difficult to deal with than those who are simply malicious. The future is not predetermined, what she knows is these vivid lives in front of her. If you cannot treat and respect them equally from the bottom of your heart, then you will definitely not receive their respect. So, she doesn't intend to accept spoilers. He is a very gentle person. Host Xiaoyi's cute cat eyes curved into a line, indicating that it was in an excellent mood. The soft sunlight passed through the glass and shone on Xiaolin Meishu's body. From a distance, it looked like a layer of thin gauze, but also like the wings of an angel. Damn it, it's a feeling of excitement. Xiao Yi covered her heart. If it also had a liking, it must be at full value at this moment. Time flies, and the morning time comes to an end while reading and researching. It's almost time for lunch. Xiaolin Meishu stretched lazily, changed into her usual clothes, and walked towards the cafeteria. As soon as she entered and selected the dishes, she saw Zhufu greeting her. Senior sister, if you don't mind, come here. Ah, it's Zhufu Jingguang. I used to have doubts about her in my impression, but now I don't mind anymore. Kobayashi Meishu raised her eyebrows and sat opposite him. Good day, Lord Fu. Xiaolin Meishu looked up slightly and said, did you rest well yesterday? Speaking of which, I also want to thank my senior sister, Zhufu Jingguang said with some embarrassment. After my senior sister's treatment, I finally stopped dreaming yesterday and slept until dawn. Now it's fully charged. Isn't that great? Xiaolin Meishu responded with a smile. This is all thanks to my senior sister. No, this is all thanks to Dream's sweet fragrance. Host, please praise me. The little kitten swayed its furry tail and coquettishly said. Okay, you did a good thing. Xiao Yi is great. Hee, well, it's not worth the credit. Zhufu Jun himself is also working very hard to cooperate with the treatment. Xiaolin Meishu waved her hand and smiled happily. If the treatment is initially effective, the next step is to maintain stability. However, heart disease still needs to be treated with medication. If you want to cure it, Zhufu Jun is best to go for psychological treatment. Looking at the hesitant gaze of Zhufu Jingguang, Xiaolin Meishu continued, if it's not possible for now, you can try opening up to trusted friends around you first. Perhaps it will be helpful. No, I don't mean I don't trust my senior sister, but... Zhufu Jingguang explained repeatedly like a frightened hamster, if you trouble someone for such a thing. What's going on? Jiang Gu sat directly next to Jingguang. Is there anything I can help you with? Jingguang. The natural attitude stunned Zhufu Jingguang for a moment. No. Hey, what's going on? Have Japanese police academies started admitting foreigners now? A noisy voice came from behind, and a group of people walked through the hallway behind Jiangu Zero, deliberately amplifying their voices with jealousy and malice. Judging from his hair color, his English must be very good. I don't know where they came from, but they are still the new student representatives. It's really. Could it be that this is the legendary Neon specialty? Campus bullying. Meishu lowered her head and a hint of unknown killing intent quickly flashed through her eyes. It's true that there are people like this everywhere. A group of bullies who are afraid of the hard. Big, probably. However, this is a famous venue where the police academy's 5-person group gathered together. Wow, you can actually watch this scene up close, it's amazing. So. Shoo, host, can you stop talking for now? The Luan family is looking forward to it. Okay. At the center of the topic, Jingu Zero just frowned slightly, ignoring those people's sarcastic words. I have become accustomed to such things. There's no need to deal with these guys at all. During practical classes, let them have a long memory. Hey, you guys, don't talk nonsense about others behind your back. Don't go too far. Ida Hong and Zhufu Jingguang couldn't bear it anymore and spoke out for their friends one after another. What, that guy was already. The collar was fiercely grabbed, and Matsuda's fierce face suddenly enlarged in front of him. Do you want to fight, Ishida? You. The student named Ishida's face turned pale. This guy has such a strong aura, Maniai, don't be so fierce, Kobayashi, Hagihara Kenji said with a smile, placing one hand on Ishida's shoulder and exerting a slight pressure with his fingertips. We're all classmates, we need to get along well, right? Ishida. I'll leave first. As Matsuda watched the panicked Ishida bamboo shoots run away, he let out a dissatisfied tisk and looked towards the fallen grain Zero. Hey, that person deliberately came to pick trouble. Why don't you fight back? What was the momentum of fighting with me back then? Because it's not necessary, said Jianggu Zero calmly, and isn't it a practical lesson right away? Matsuda understood and understood. Arno, do you want to have dinner together? Zhufu Jingguang invited Matsuda and Hagihara. Thank you very much for what happened just now. It's nothing, I just can't stand those guys who bully the weak and fear the hard, Matsuda pouted and sat directly next to Kobayashi Meishu. Do you mind if I sit here? I don't know. Meishu shook her head and directly blocked Xiaoi, who was screaming like seeing an idol in her mind. It's too noisy. Allah, is Senior Kobayashi actually here too? Hagihara Kenji's eyes lit up. Are you? Ah, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Kenji Hagihara, a good friend who grew up with Kobayashi and belongs to the Ghost Tomb class. Kenji Hagihara introduced himself proficiently. This is the class leader of our Ghost Tomb class, Date Air. I am Meishu Kobayashi, also from a police academy background. I am probably your senior sister from the previous class and the current school doctor. Hagihara Jun and Ida Jun, please give me more guidance. Meishu Kobayashi continued to maintain her personal image. Please give me more guidance, Senior Kobayashi. Ida Airlines nodded politely. Just call me a second-year graduate, my senior sister, Hagihara said directly. Don't be so polite. My family owes you a lot of care. Hey Hagi. Don't always be so meaty. Matsuda Masahiro protested. Protests are invalid. Matsuda was pushed back by Hagihara. Research. Second. Xiaolin Meishu hesitated for a moment and said the name, feeling a bit uncomfortable. Hi, Hagihara agreed with satisfaction, then pretended to be casual and said, do you have any thoughts on what happened just now? Sitting here all the way, witnessing everything, but not saying a word, the whole person's sense of existence seems to have been erased. It's a bit strange. With such thoughts in mind, Hagihara issued a probing inquiry. Matsuda hugged his arm on the side, showing a look of dead fish eyes. What is Hagi planning to do? Senior, if you don't eat the fish cake anymore, it will be cold. Just as Xiaolin Meishu spoke, Zhufu Jingguang suddenly switched sides. Don't mention those disappointing things during meals, it affects appetite. He looked at Hajiwara, with a gentle smile but an irresistible strength. It's really like a cat that protects its food. Did you feel something and want to protect your senior sister? Swish inside. Hagi Genji nodded, but a smile of unknown meaning rose from the corner of his mouth. Classmates are all very interesting, it seems that the days ahead will not be too boring. It's so scary, there seems to be something wrong with the atmosphere just now. Xiaoyi suddenly trembled. Did something happen just now? Xiaolin Meishu, who is busy working on food, said. It seems like there is, but it doesn't seem like there is. Anyway, I can't explain it clearly. If you can't say it clearly, just treat it as if nothing happened. You're already very busy, so it's better to find less trouble for yourself. Xiaolin Meishu gently took a bite of the fish cake. Oh, sweet, delicious. Chapter 5. Matsuda's Past. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Bang. 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 The practical training class of Jianggu Zero Heart has finally arrived, mainly focusing on combat skills. Fighting can be divided into unarmed combat and instrumental combat. There are various types of fighting techniques, including boxing, wrestling, taekwondo, sanda, sumo, and more. However, their goals are constantly changing, with the focus on protecting their own safety and defeating enemies. Therefore, they have high requirements for personal strength, jumping, endurance, explosive power, and resistance to attacks. After briefly explaining the knowledge related to combat, Yoshihide Yashizuka announced the start of practical combat, and all students formed teams in pairs to conduct practical exercises. Ishida Takashi was just planning to find his companion to practice, but then he felt like a blonde and black-skinned person was blocking him in front of him. Drop to 0, please give me more guidance. The blonde boy grinned at him and challenged himself with confidence. Shirtian bamboo shoots, please give me more guidance. Immediately after, a sound of fist and foot collision hit, and a few minutes later, Ishida lay on the ground, sweating profusely and holding his injured calf, unable to get up again. Humph, it's comfortable now. Jiangtano breathed a sigh of relief, but was stopped by Matsuda Junpei next to him. Did you do a good job, blonde bastard? Why don't we compare again? There is no personal grudge this time, it's purely a matter of seeking pleasure and wanting to spar. Jianggu raised his eyebrows and was about to agree when he was stopped by the instructor. Time is up, everyone rest in place for 2 minutes. During the interval, Instructor Gizuka also announced the following rules. Now let's conduct group training, everyone will be divided into 3 groups. One person will defend the challenge, while the others will attack. The winner will become the new defender. Do you understand? Yes. So, Matsuda Junpei, Ida Hang, and Kanaga Zero, these skilled individuals were assigned to different groups as defenders, and the plan for the sparring could only be temporarily put on hold. Of course, the final result was that the 3 of them held on until the end, becoming the ultimate winners. Excuse me. Kobayashi Meishu gently knocked on the door and, with the permission of the instructor, walked in and lifted the things in her hand. Mr. Gizuka, this is the medicinal wine you requested. Ah, just leave it there, please. This is what I should do. Kobayashi Meishu quickly glanced at the target she had set her sights on and left. Medicinal wine is naturally prepared for injured students, with the functions of promoting blood circulation, removing blood stasis, cooling and relieving pain. Hagihara complained that Matsuda Masahiro was still so ruthless towards his own people, while taking medicinal wine to wipe it off himself. The familiar smell rushed in, just like the smell on Matsuda's body in the morning. However, just now he seemed to feel a piercing gaze, which was fleeting and disappearing at a speed that seemed like his illusion. The sky quickly darkened, and the students at the police academy finally finished their day of training and walked towards their respective dormitories. "Na, Matsuda." Kanagawa stopped Matsuda Junpei and asked with some embarrassment, "Do you know how to use the makeup remover that our senior sister gave us before?" "Ah." Matsuda was a little confused, "I forgot to ask." The two looked at each other and ultimately decided to seek professional help. However, the health room was now empty. "It seems that we didn't come by chance. By the way, Hagi has always been good at dealing with girls, maybe he knows how to use this." Matsuda patted his head and came up with a good idea. Subsequently, the two of them rushed towards Hajiwara Kenji's dormitory, but unexpectedly, they pounced on it again. "Ah, ha. Hagi is not here either. Are you so unlucky today?" It can't be that the two of them agreed to go out together at this time. Matsuda was a bit puzzled. But the nearby Jingu Zero seemed to have thought of something, maybe. "Ah, Zero," Jufu Jingguang happened to open the door. "Do you want to go out?" Is this makeup remover in your hand?" "Hero." Jianggu grabbed Jingguang's arm with a flickering, saved, in his eyes. "You know how to use it, right? Come and help." So, Jufu Jingguang was dragged into his own room by Jingu Zero, along with Matsuda. Next door Fujiwara. If I remember correctly, Kanagawa and Matsuda were still arguing yesterday. Surprisingly, they have already recovered to this extent today. Confusing in the pitch black alley, Shirtian Bamboo walked slowly to a deserted corner with some uncomfortable steps. He reluctantly punched the nearby tree, but it hurt him a lot. Hiss. "Damn it, what kind of aura? Damn Jianggu, meddlesome Matsuda. It's just relying on oneself to have more means than others. Sooner or later, what will happen?" "Who?" A gentle female voice came from behind, and Kobayashi Meishu stood behind him harmless, her black skirt swayed by the wind, approaching silently like a ghost. "Senior sister." Ishida Takashi was a bit cautious in her heart, but seeing that the person in front of her didn't seem to be angry, coupled with her own appearance bonus, she finally felt relieved. "My senior sister also agrees, right?" Ishida's gaze flickered and he said, "At noon, it was clearly there too, wasn't it?" The senior sister didn't make a sound, probably because she was threatened by those guys, right? There was no one around, and his courage grew stronger. His restless hand also tried to reach out to Xiaolin Meishu. "Don't worry, senior sister. There's nothing to be afraid of those guys, I'll protect you." Click. A deep bone marrow pain hit, and Ishida's wrist seemed to be broken, hanging limply on his arm, unable to exert any strength. He widened his eyes in disbelief, a piercing pain transmitted to his mind, but he couldn't shout it out. Because his chin was also removed at the same time. There's really no need for verbal arguments, Meishu Kobayashi looked at Ishida struggling in pain in front of her. The chill in her eyes was even stronger than ice and snow. Because the pain in her body is more memorable than verbal insults. "Listen up, Ishida. Next time, just cut off your tongue." Her tone was very plain, so plain that it seemed like discussing a perfectly normal matter. It was precisely this plain tone that made people tremble even more. Then, with a gentle wave of her hands, she took the other person's wrist and chin back in. "Remember, tonight, you haven't met anyone." "I haven't met anyone." Ishida repeated her words in confusion. Meishu nodded with satisfaction. As expected, in the world of Kushui, as long as a reasonable explanation can be found, some martial arts can be used, and the same goes for the soul-moving technique. This is good news for her. After dealing with Ishida's matter, she walked slowly towards the other side of the wall until the sound of footsteps deliberately increased as it approached. Turning around the corner, Hagihara crouched half down and was suddenly exposed in front of Kobayashi Meishu. Yen air. Xiaolin Meishu smiled and asked, as if she had just discovered this person. Coincidentally, are you also taking a walk? Ah, hello senior. Hagihara was feeling a bit guilty at the moment. That's right, he saw Ishida bamboo shoots on the road before. He didn't pay much attention at first, but then he accidentally caught a glimpse of Meishu Kobayashi's figure. Out of curiosity, he followed all the way and hid on the side to eavesdrop. However, through the thick walls, only a few words were faintly heard, like Ishida complaining, and nothing else was heard. Then she was caught by Xiaolin Meishu, who turned around and came out. So coincidentally, let's chat together. Meishu invited, I happen to have some questions for you. Since there is no way to avoid it, then take the initiative. Okay. Okay, Hagihara's mind twitched slightly. Isn't this a good opportunity to come knocking on the door and explore clues? Just he glanced slightly at the person inside with the corner of his eye, and Ishida had not moved since entering. He probably, as if hearing his inner voice, Ishida walked out dejected. After seeing Hagiwara, he seemed frightened and hurriedly ran away. It seems like I've been overthinking. Hagihara secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He turned around again, and Xiaolin Meishu was already 10 meters away from him. Xiao Do hemp bag, senior sister, wait for me for a moment. At night, in silence, Jingu Ling sneaked out of the dormitory and headed towards the archive room quietly, only to collide with someone near the door. That's right, it's really a head bump. Ouch. Host, hurry up. It's time for Naxu to come on stage. Sigh. Why? Respect the setting. If you have a dual personality, you will switch when strongly stimulated, right? Isn't this collision a great opportunity? Just be happy. Xiaolin Meishu shook her head and then showcased her excellent acting skills, lowering her slightly irritable voice and saying, what's wrong with you guys? Don't you look at the road? Jianggu covered her head with confusion on her face. Senior sister. How could you be here? Don't try to get too close. Naoki Kobayashi hugged his arm and looked at the surroundings with displeasure, as well as the suddenly appearing black-skinned kid in front of him. I didn't sleep for most of the night. What are you doing here? I don't think you're trying to do something bad. I don't have it. Although I vaguely felt that my senior sister's condition was not quite right, when it came to serious matters, Jianggu temporarily put aside this sense of discord and quickly explained, I just wanted to investigate Matsuda's situation. Well, that's it. Naishu paused for a moment, as if pondering something. Coincidentally, I'm also here for this. Why don't we all come together? So, Jingu Zero was inexplicably drawn into the team. Professional boxer Jean-Taro Matsuda arrested on suspicion of murder. In the dark data room, the computer's fluorescence flickered slightly. With the efforts of the two, they finally dug up a report from many years ago. At this time, when the incident occurred, Matsuda Junpei should still be a child, right? If the father is accused of being a murderer or something, the son's situation may not be very good either. Jianggu Zero frowned slightly. What, it's just a headline party. Naishu Kobayashi slammed the table heavily beside him. At the end of the content, Matsuda's father is clearly not a criminal. But such an important matter, it's just a passing remark. Which media report is this? It's so irresponsible. But it's only natural, Kanagawa continued, if there really was a father of a murderer, Matsuda probably wouldn't have been able to pass the assessment and become a police academy student. In this way, we can also understand why Matsuda hates the police so much. After all, his father was accused of being a murderer due to the police mistake in the beginning. Although the case was later re-investigated and he was cleared, there were also many reputational and property losses caused. But if it weren't for helping his father get rid of his injustice, why would Matsuda become a police officer? The losses are not just about these, Naisu snorted coldly. I learned from Hagihara before that due to this misjudgment, Matsuda's father missed an extremely important game. After that, he began to drink excessively every day, and his whole person fell into depravity, ignoring his own children. Matsuda was also excluded by other children of the same age and was labeled as the son of a murderer. What caused all of this was the irresponsible words of a certain police officer. If it were me, I would also feel unwilling. Senior sister. Jianggu Zero was somewhat surprised, and his gaze at Naishu gradually began to doubt him. Today, it seems like you have something different in peacetime, isn't it? Ah. Naisu turned his head and stared as if flames were blazing in his eyes. What's different? Jianggu Zero was frightened and took half a step back. Big, probably in terms of address, he stuttered. Don't you usually refer to Matsuda as Kinemayan? And Hajiwara, didn't you just call him Kenji before? I can call it whatever I want, can you manage it? Naishu gave a dissatisfied click. Second year of graduate school. That guy is really familiar enough. No, I don't have any objections. Jianggu stood up straight and asked cautiously, Senior sister, are you in a bad mood? Yeah, Naishu impatiently turned off the computer, it's getting late. If you have nothing to do, go back early. If you have anything to do, we'll talk about it the next day. Yes. Jianggu Zero stiffly swallowed the words he had originally wanted to ask. Not long after, he returned to his dormitory. My senior sister originally said that she used to be a thorn in the head, but he still didn't believe it. Now he has seen it. As for Matsuda's matter, just ask him directly tomorrow. The night obscured the bright moonlight, and finally, Jianggu Zero closed her eyes and fell into a deep dream. On the other hand, Zhufu Jingguang's breathing suddenly quickened, as if being choked by someone's throat. The huge sense of indulgence woke him up from the nightmare once again. Chapter 6. Correct use of props. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Xiaolin Meishu yawned and put down the shaky book in her hand. Staying up late and waking up early is simply a nightmare for working people. After reading for a long time, besides myself, there was not even a ghost in the health room, let alone a person. It's a bit boring. Host, if you're bored, go take a look at the ghost tomb class. Xiao Yi, who loves chasing stars, urged him. No, Meishu refused very decisively. Those people are what you like, not what I like, and you are a palace fighting system, why are you so interested in anime characters? Isn't it strange? It's not surprising, because the quality is too poor, the Luan family has not found a suitable partner since it was manufactured, and they can only pass the time by watching anime when they have nothing to do. Ha! Are you so unprofessional? I now understand why you can't find a suitable partner. Meishu felt speechless in her heart. I'm angry. The kind that can't be coaxed well. Humph. Can't I take you to see the male god? Take me to see the male god. I have to go. After chatting together for a few moments, Xiao and Meishu finally took a step forward and walked towards the place where the police academy's 5-person team was training. At this moment, a conflict is breaking out in the ghost tomb class, which is conducting firearms training. Missing a bullet. Yoshihide Yashizuka frowned tightly, his already fierce face adding a hint of sharpness. Which of you took it? Hand it over quickly. The whole scene was silent, with no one responding. Hiding bullets privately is a very serious matter. Yashizuka Yasuo looked at no one responding and suddenly became furious. He turned around and looked at Matsuda Junpei, who had just dismantled his gun due to a missed bullet and was still squatting on the ground assembling his gun. He hesitated for a moment and asked, Hey Matsuda, have you already handed in all your bullets? Ha! What do you mean by this? Matsuda turned around and stared keenly at Instructor Gazuka, I just handed over all 5 bullets to Instructor Uel. Why, didn't you notice it yourself? Or are you doubting me? Without any evidence or evidence. Dad's experience flashed through his mind, and Matsuda's violent aura surged, but he was still suppressed by reason. Don't make a fuss, Matsuda, a hint of helplessness flashed on Yashizuka's face. I didn't. It's not without evidence, right? After all, you were the only one who opened the gun without permission just now, and there's a chance to do some small actions like hiding bullets. I suspect you're normal, right? A classmate hid in the crowd and whispered softly. What nonsense. Kobayashi just likes to dismantle things. Hagihara Kenji stopped his classmate's whispered speculation. Who knows, there were voices in the crowd who didn't mind the excitement. Listening to the questioning voices of those around him, the valley fell to 0, and the various Fu Jingguang and Yaidahang also lowered their faces. Instructor Gizuka, regarding the repair work on the roof, we may need your assistance to confirm. The 2 maintenance workers waiting nearby spoke up and asked. Gizuka Yatso responded with a headache. No matter who did it, hurry up and hand over the things, do you hear me? And Matsuda, since you said you didn't take it, let's find the person who stole the bullets. Ida, help maintain order. No one is allowed to leave until the bullets are found. I'll go and take a look on that side first. Yes. *2 Xiaoan Meishu, who arrived outside the classroom, listened to the words of the ghost tomb instructor just now and couldn't help but feel a little worried in her heart. Matsuda, is this almost wronged again? Woo, poor Xiaoping has encountered a similar predicament as his father. Host, go help him quickly. Help. How can I help? I'm not currently the party involved, and Jianggu and the others are all here, so there shouldn't be any problems. That's right. Thinking so in her heart, Xiaolan Meishu couldn't help but take 2 steps closer, trying to see how they planned to solve it. The subsequent events can be said to have taken a sharp turn for the worse. The worker repairing the roof accidentally stepped on it and fell from upstairs. The ghost tomb instructor rushed out to save the person, but was caught by a rope used as a safety device and hung in mid-air. He could only lock the worker who was about to fall with his legs while trying to grab the rope around his neck with his hands to avoid being strangled. Suddenly, such a change occurred, and the members of the ghost tomb squad were flustered, while the police academy's 5-member team led by Ida Hang tacitly exchanged a glance, and everything remained silent. Matsuda, assemble the pistol as soon as possible, Hagihara. I'll hand over the whereabouts of the bullets to you, Kono. You're on standby next to me, Jufu. We'll support them from below. Move. Understand. Xiaolan Meishu was stunned as she watched outside. Although all other pistols and bullets at the scene have been collected, is there no other way to more conveniently rescue the Gizuka instructors besides pistol shooting? Even if you burn the rope with a lighter. Also, are the rest of you just doing this and watching? At least go find someone to borrow some tools, or notify the doctor in advance to come over. What? Are you a doctor yourself? Oh, it's okay then. Then, she saw Matsuda say that it would take about 3 minutes to load the gun, while Nishitani was teaching the little knowledge of 3 minutes without death or panic on the other side. Please, Instructor Gizuka seems to be suffocating even more after hearing your statement. Hey. Jianggu, you. Forget it, relying on others is better than relying on yourself. Kobayashi Meishu decisively decided to go on her own. Xiaoi, is there anything in the built-in props of the system that can be used? Let me check. Can you take a look at this? Prop. Heart is like a knife cutting. P.S. Are you still struggling and hesitant about being unable to speak up about a relationship? Are you still feeling sad about being separated from each other and not being able to see each other? Don't panic, don't be afraid, the pain of love will give you strength. Effect. It can act on 2 people, allowing the target one to experience the pain of lovesickness like a knife, and prompting them to unleash their potential, ignoring all the surrounding environment, and going to the face of the target to confess their true feelings. Usage time limit. 3 minutes. Okay, that's it. Kobayashi Meishu decisively purchased the props and used them on the Ghost Tomb instructor and Kobayashi 0. Oh my goodness. Host, why are you doing this? Xiao Yi was shocked and pale. Is something wrong? Kobayashi Meishu said solemnly, let the Ghost Tomb instructor unleash his potential to go to the face of the fallen Valley 0, isn't it safe? But there will be confession later. It's still 3 minutes, the child really died in society. What's the point here? Those who achieve great things don't stick to small details. Saving others is important. As for the Valley, his words should be tolerable. Probably. It's really not possible. Just flip through books on psychology yourself. After all, treating one is treating the other, and there's no difference between the two. Kobayashi Meishu tried her best to suppress her impulse to have a laugh, happily watching the changes on the field. So, just as Hagiwara had tricked the person who was hiding the bullet and taken it away, the Ghost Tomb instructor suddenly let out a loud roar like an auto-possessed body, and broke the rope that was holding him tightly, startling everyone. Class monitor, Jingguang, quickly dodge. I'll catch them. Jianggu 0 reacted quickly and took over the fallen worker. After breaking free from the shackles of the rope, the Ghost Tomb instructor used the last strength of his arm to swing himself towards the direction of the stairs like a swing, and then lightly jumped back safely onto the stairs. How impressive. Truly worthy of being an instructor. Idahong and Zhufu Jingguang instinctively clapped their hands in praise, but were immediately shocked by the following scene. The Ghost Tomb instructor, who narrowly escaped death, stumbled and ran down, grabbing onto Jianggu 0's shoulder and giving him a Qiong-Yao-style thud, followed by a hoarse roar, Jianggu, I'm really uncomfortable. There's a saying I've been holding it for a long time. Instructor, calm down a bit. You need to take good care of your sore throat now. Jianggu 0 was shaken into mosquito-repellent eyes, feeling dizzy. Isn't it just that I said before that I couldn't kill anyone for 3 minutes, but I would faint? As for holding grudges like this. Shut up and listen to me. Actually, I've been liking you for a long time. Sigh. After a moment of silence, the entire classroom exploded. Isn't it true that their beloved Ghost Tomb instructor actually holds that kind of thought towards Fallen Valley? I see, now I suddenly understand why Instructor Gizuka is still a bachelor at such an old age, and it's because of this. Hagihara unexpectedly raised his eyebrows, right? He himself doesn't mind much about this, but what Gizuka instructor said doesn't seem appropriate in terms of age. Upon hearing these words, Matsuda Seihei choked up, but the movement of assembling firearms in his hands still did not stop. But a faint glimmer of happiness flashed through my heart. What's going on? Idahang beside him opened his mouth wide and fell into a state of confusion for the first time. Perhaps we thought too much, the instructor just liked his abilities and so on. Zhufu Jingguang pulled out an awkward smile, trying to save his friend's respect. However, the next second, the instructor's words blurted out, so, please make friends with me. After being shocked at the beginning, the confessing party, Jiang Tano, quickly adjusted and quickly covered the other person's mouth before the Gizuka instructor said that sentence. However, the information revealed by this sentence was accurately received by the people around it. He just wanted to talk about dating, right? Absolutely right. Fujiwara Ichiro held his careful mouth in excitement. A teacher who appears strong on the surface but is gentle inside, and a student who excels but is excluded by others. Oh my, I hit it. The reaction is so fast, truly worthy of being an excellent student representative. However, it seems to be of little use. Host, don't laugh anymore. I didn't see that Jianggu's face has turned black to the point of almost turning into an African. Go help me. Cough cough, I'm not laughing, I just. Can't help but ha ha ha. After laughing recklessly in her mind, Kobayashi Meishu appeared in time at the urging of Koi to rescue the embarrassed Niigata Zero. I heard there was an accident here. What happened? As she made her debut, the awkward atmosphere gradually dissipated. Under the puzzled gaze of Meishu Kobayashi felt as if she had been electrocuted. She immediately withdrew her hand from covering the Ghost Tomb instructor and calmly said, "It's Ghost Tomb instructor." Just now, he accidentally hung his neck to save someone, probably compressing some strange nerves. Suddenly, he started talking nonsense. "Senior sister, please help take a look. Please, instructor, don't say anything strange again at this time." Jingu Zero's heart is not as calm as he looks now. Fortunately, 3 minutes have passed and the props have failed, while Yoshitaka Yashizuka has now returned to normal. Unfortunately, all that had just happened was also engraved in his mind with unparalleled clarity. Oh my god! What did I do before? Gizuka Babashi's head suddenly emitted steam and he wished he could faint immediately. Xiaolin Meishu helped him and said, "Teacher Gizuka, you don't look very good now. It's better to go to the health room for a detailed examination and treatment." Calm down, calm down. As long as I'm not embarrassed, but now I'm just very embarrassed. Ghost Tomb 8 song covers his face. The instructor is probably exhausted, let me help you send him over together. Zhufu Jingguang saw the awkwardness of the two parties involved and kindly took the initiative to come and help. Thank you, hero. Thank you, Miss Xiaolin. Although it may not appear on the surface, Jianggu Zero is already filled with tears in her heart. At the end of the matter, Meishu Kobayashi issued a medical certificate confirming that the instructor had started talking nonsense due to the increased intracranial pressure caused by the rope. At the same time, with Hagihara's efforts, the person who stole the bullet was found and criticized, and Matsuda's injustice was exonerated. And by lowering the threshold to 0, we further understood Matsuda Junpei's desire to become a police officer. In order to find an opportunity to beat up the director of the police station, Yuichiro Kuroda, who was the irresponsible police officer who mistakenly arrested his father. "Police and everything, go to hell with me." Matsuda said so. Of course, Xiaolin Meishu, who watched all of this, also gained a lot. The favorability of Jianggu Zero and Zhufu Jingguang has suddenly increased by 10 points. Why? Xiaolin Meishu was somewhat surprised. Probably out of gratitude. After all, your appearance at that time was equivalent to helping them out. Xiao Yi pondered for a moment and said. This way Kobayashi Meishu pressed her fingers against her chin, her face strange. Is this method so effective? She seems to have figured out the correct usage of palace fighting props. Xiaoyi. Chapter 7. Heartbreaking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In a bright afternoon, the golden sun shines through the large French window on the dining table of the police school canteen, matching the aroma of food, which makes your appetite move. I'm moving. *6 Kobayashi Meishu sat next to the colorful scenery, enjoying lunch with Ida, Kanagaya, Matsuda, and Hagihara. After the incident with the Ghost Tomb instructor last time, she cooperated with the statement of reducing Valley Zero and publicly claimed that the Ghost Tomb instructor caused an increase in intracranial pressure due to prolonged neck suspension, which led to partial disorder of the language system. In this way, she helped the two parties to resolve the issue and received unanimous praise from the 5-person group. And Hagihara Kenji, who had doubts about her before, also inferred from Ishida's evasive gaze that he had privately taught the other party a lesson. Out of consideration for maintaining his friend, his liking also increased. Simply put, she can barely be called the dinner companion of the police academy's 5-member group now. Good luck, congratulations, shut up, eat your cat food. Ahem, it's Hajiwara-sang, so handsome. The people around me are all handsome guys from Chi Mian. Even Sister Xiaolin is here. Why not take advantage of now? A few girls from the neighboring class looked at us from afar, chattering as if calculating something. Yumi sauce. Kanai sauce. Good afternoon. Is there anything you want to tell me? Hagihara Kenji noticed the movements of the girls and quickly organized his image before emitting a cheerful smile towards the other side. Yes. The lively-looking short-haired girl walked over with happy steps and invited Hagihara Kenji. We're planning to hold a social gathering this weekend. Can Hagihara-san come and participate? Of course I can. How can I have the heart to refuse a request from a cute girl like Kanai sauce? Hajiwara blinked his eyes, her seductive peach blossom eyes teasing the heartstrings. Thank you. So, why don't we all call everyone around us together? By the way, if possible, would Sister Xiaolin also come along? Xiaolin Meishu looked up in confusion. If I remember correctly, the neon party here is a gathering for single men and women to enhance understanding and develop relationships, right? Is it appropriate for her to go? Yumai Jiang looked over with hope and said, Senior sister, there shouldn't be any other arrangements on that day, right? That's not true. That's settled. Before she could finish speaking, the other person had already held her hand, with a buling light in their eyes. Please do appreciate it. Okay. The first time I saw my senior sister's cute and confused appearance, it was really. I can't bear it at all. Inviting her favorite senior sister, Yume was excited and her eyes became picky as she watched the other 5 handsome guys. These few people. All of them are pretty good, and it seems that they have a close relationship with their senior sister. However, putting them and their senior classmates together still feels a bit overshadowed. My senior sister looks like this, she hasn't really been in a relationship at first glance. I'll have to take care of her when the time comes. Beauty, only suitable for the strong. I was completely unaware of Yume's inner thoughts, and Kobayashi Meishu only felt that the other person's gaze towards her was particularly eerie. Perhaps this is the natural attraction between girls. However, it's quite cute. Hagihara Kenji. Here we go again, this subtle feeling of being overlooked. Matsuda Masahiro. What are they doing? Why don't you eat? Ida Airlines. Should we refuse? I already have Natalie. Jiangu 0. Sure enough, my senior sister is a good person with a cold exterior and a hot interior. Zhufu Jingguang. Will there be anything delicious in the gathering place? After finalizing the social gathering, the 6 of them quickly finished their lunch. Matsuda Junpei put down his plate and planned to leave, but did not notice the tomato juice on his lips. Wait a moment, Xiao Zhanping. Hagihara thoughtfully took out his handkerchief and leaned over to wipe off the tomato juice from Matsuda's mouth, as if taking care of a child. However, Matsuda was startled by the sudden and careful care. What are you doing? I'm not good at that kind of thing. Halfway through the conversation, Matsuda's gaze turned to the stiffened figure of Niigata on the side. Oh no, I shouldn't have poked that guy's pain again. That kind of thing. Oh, I know that. Hagihara looked over in confusion. Didn't you have a crush on my sister before? Is there a melon? Xiaolin Meishu suddenly slowed down her movements and pretended to unconsciously perk up her ears. Ah, secret love. After looking at Matsuda and then at Hagihara, I couldn't help but feel a chill and expel the previous thought from my mind. Matsuda really likes this type of person from the year, I really can't tell, he said. Do you have any objections? Matsuda Seihei slammed the table and roared angrily. No, not at all. Of course Zero has no objections, he's probably just surprised that you have the same taste as him in this area, Zhufu Jingguang joked with a smile. Sigh. Matsuda was surprised. Hero. How could a good brother dismantle his platform at this time? Jianggu gave a look. So, does Jianggu also have an unknown past? Xiaolin Meishu couldn't help but ask in a voice. She suddenly became interested when she remembered the previously marked very similar to first love in the favorability column. Gossip is human nature. Well, that's true. Speaking of which, that woman is also a doctor. Zhufu Jingguang looked at Xiaolin Meishu, just like her senior sister. The following sentence is a bit redundant, isn't it? Matsuda clicked and said, there are so many women who become doctors, and she's not the only one. Yeah, Dr. Elena's figure flashed through Jianggu's mind, that's why it's not easy to find. Not easy to find. Now even Hagihara was attracted, is it difficult? 0, haven't you put down the other person yet? Jianggu 0 waved his hand repeatedly, it's not what you think. It's just that one day, I suddenly lost all contact with their family, and I'm a bit worried. I just want to investigate. This is also one of the reasons why 0 initially wanted to become a police officer, Zhu Fu silently added. What, your reason for becoming a police officer is actually for this? Matsuda widened his eyes, it's really surprising. But it's also very romantic, isn't it? Hagihara picked up the conversation with a smile, to find the trace of his beloved. What about Hagi, Yen Air? Why do you want to become a police officer? Xiaolin Meishu asked a follow-up question. Me. If I were you, of course I would have followed Xiao Junping over. Hagihara patted Matsuda's shoulder, because he looks fierce and doesn't know how to take care of himself. Hee. Matsuda Banyue's eyes. Oh, in order to accompany my beloved, let's move forward and backward together, said Kobayashi Miyuki meaningfully, it's not much worse than Falling Valley. Hajiwara suddenly got stuck. That's not the case. Matsuda glared fiercely. Hagi was planning to find a job that wouldn't be unemployed because his family's auto repair shop almost closed down due to the previous economic crisis. Coincidentally, I said I was coming to the police academy, and he felt that the police were at least civil servants and met his requirements, so he came here. Okay, I got it. Yes, no need to explain. Meishu Kobayashi smiled very gently, looking normal, but it made Matsuda even more irritable beside her. Xiaolin Meishu. She did it on purpose. He has already seen through this guy's bad taste. On the side, Kanagawa and Zhufu had become accustomed to the bad nature that Meishu occasionally revealed due to their frequent interactions with her. However, Ida Hang was different. He looked at Xiaolin Meishu, who was completely different from his impression, with some surprise, and his understanding of female diversity had been elevated to a higher level. Matsuda hugged his arm and muttered, indeed, others probably thought you were the kind of gentle woman who is as big as a caretaker. They don't even know that the soul hidden beneath the angel's surface is actually a demon. Be careful not to get married in the future. Alas, there's a saying that goes, birds of a feather flock together, and people flock together. Kobayashi Meishu looked at the fried Matsuda, like a curly-haired cat with open teeth and claws. Not only did she not scare people, but she also made people increasingly want to tease them. Demons and so on, curly-haired king really has self-awareness. She never lost a verbal battle. Ah, it's completely impossible, Xiao Zhanping. Speaking of which. Hagihara looked at Matsuda, who was panting with anger, and his mouth twitched slightly before changing the topic. Jingguang, why do you want to become a police officer? As soon as this topic was brought up, the movements of Zhufu Jingguang instantly came to a halt. In an instant, he seemed to return to that narrow space once again. Blood kept gushing out from his mother's body, and the sharp knife reflected a dazzling white light under the illumination of the incandescent lamp, constantly approaching him. The tattoo on the person's shoulder was clearly visible, Hero. What's wrong, your face suddenly turned so bad. Jianggu looked at the stunned Zhufu Jingguang and patted his shoulder with concern. Hero has been quietly investigating some things in private all along, and he has hidden many things in his heart. He also has some speculations about this, but he still hopes that Hiro can open up and tell himself the things. Sorry, Zhufu Jingguang forced a slight smile, but didn't know what to say. Don't laugh if you don't want to. Xiaolin Meishu frowned, did you not sleep well yesterday? Yes. Why didn't you tell me? Meishu Kobayashi became serious. She said there was improvement before, isn't it also a lie? No, that's true. Zhufu Jingguang shook his head repeatedly. It's just that the situation has changed back to before a few days ago, maybe it's a problem with drug resistance. Patients need to have a patient self-awareness, and if there are problems, they need to give feedback in a timely manner. Many problems are caused by not being treated in a timely manner, which ultimately leads to serious illness. Kobayashi Meishu said a lot, becoming more and more angry as she spoke. She silently advised herself not to be angry, but her tone couldn't help but become more serious. Host, your language skills are not good. When dealing with people who don't want to trouble others, it is recommended to use T-words T-language. Xiao Yi suggested in her mind. T-language. Is that okay? Don't worry, this is the pattern I have summarized from watching a lot of anime. It definitely works. Xiao Yi swears with unwavering determination. So. Give it a try. Sure enough, it's just that I'm not competent enough as a doctor. Xiaolin Meishu put on a worried posture and blamed herself, Zhufu is clearly next to me, but I didn't notice his problem. Sigh, whether it's a doctor or a senior, I'm too derelict of duty. No, it's not my senior sister's problem. Zhufu Jingguang panicked and said, it's my own fault. In fact, he didn't have time to receive treatment, but after his parents were killed in front of him, his brain was stimulated and his memories became blurred. Although I have been having nightmares lately, the frequency of memory occurrences has also increased. Perhaps we can find more accurate clues from the dreams and lock in the culprit. Out of such considerations, he allowed this situation to go unchecked, but it unexpectedly led to his senior sister's self-blame. I'll go for treatment later, so don't be sad, senior sister. After that, I will also cooperate with the treatment afterwards. Okay, keep your word. Mom, it really works. Xiaolin Meishu was surprised. That's not it. Xiao Yi straightened her chest and had a proud face. After reaching an agreement with Zhufu Jingguang, Xiaolin Meishu finally relaxed a bit. There is no way, disobedient patients are the most troublesome. The level of frustration is like a project that has been redone n times at the request of Party A, but ultimately decides to choose the first version. Xiaodo, it turns out Jingguang has been suffering from insomnia. Are you receiving treatment? Ida Hang looked over in surprise, I don't even know. It seems that my class monitor is not very competent either. I'm not sure about Xiao Zhanping either, Hagihara squinted his eyes. Except for my senior sister who is a doctor, probably only Zero knows about this situation. However, it seems that Jingguang, who has always been very steady, is actually the person who hides the most secrets. It seems to be an extremely important matter. But as expected, I still care a lot. Hajiwara, Matsuda, and Ida exchanged glances and nodded in agreement. Just bring that guy from Jianggu over later, he must know something. Didi. Date Air's phone rang twice as a reminder of receiving a text message. According to regulations, it is not allowed to bring mobile phones in the police academy. He looked left and right, made a confidential gesture to everyone, took out his phone to check the newly received text message, but the other 5 people's eyes were attracted by a cute pink doll hanging on his phone. Shouldn't it be? After replying to the message, Idaho looked up again and saw the friendly gaze of its classmates. What's going on? Bringing my phone over without permission and hanging such a cute doll. Hagihara spoke in a lengthened tone, class monitor, are you texting your girlfriend? No, Ida Airlines shook its head, it was just a notification from the courier. That's it. But I do have a girlfriend. Oh. Sigh. Except for Meishu Kobayashi, several other boys were all stunned and became bean-eyed. It's a big fuss. Senior, aren't you surprised at all? Among us, the only one who is currently charging is actually the class monitor. Hagihara sighed. They are all alone in the pool, and it's not common for the class monitor to take the lead. The class monitor looks very reliable. And at first glance, he looks like he has a very planned life. Isn't it normal to have a girlfriend? Kobayashi Meishu didn't quite understand why they were so excited, so she said straightforwardly, on the contrary, it's you guys. At first glance, they don't look like playboys or childish ghosts. Otherwise, they have a sense of belonging. Of course, girls won't take a liking to you. Okay, that's too much. But it seems very reasonable. Then Jufu Jingwang silently investigated and felt that there was no one among the people who had been stabbed, so he couldn't help but ask a question. Jufu. Xiaolin Meishu glanced at Jufu Jingwang and hesitated for a moment, considering the patient's emotions. You still have a lot of hope. Well, if you come across a woman who really likes children. Is this saying that I look very much like a child? Jufu Jingwang has been somewhat affected, and his personality is not at all like it. If it's not personality, then it's feeling like you really need to be taken care of. Need to be taken care of equals relatively fragile equals children. Xiaolin Meishu felt that her logic was fine. Under such cognition, Jufu Jingwang increasingly felt that something was not quite right when receiving treatment. Come, Jufu, drink the medicine. After drinking the medicine, have a good sleep. After speaking, Xiaolin Meishu tucked him in again. Senior sister, I'm not a child. Jufu Jingwang controls the way. You're all right. Kobayashi Meishu put on an extremely tolerant attitude of, I really can't do anything about you. People who are drunk will also insist that they are not drunk. Patients, sometimes just like children. Damn it. How come senior sister is like this? Jufu Jingwang was choked. He rolled over and turned his back to Meishu Kobayashi, venting his dissatisfaction. Chapter 8. Ida's Heart Knot. Kobayashi and the Past of the Organization. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is another practical lesson on self-defense skills, and there is only one defender this time, which is squad leader Ida Hang. Matsuda rubbed his sore shoulders and jumped off the arena, sitting down next to Hajiwara and Jufu. Yo, Zaya's Hanping has also been defeated. Hagihara looked at his unhappy young trainer and said with a smile, Jingwang and I lost before you. The squad leader is really naive today. If we all fail without a chance later. The class monitor is really impressive, especially today. He seemed to have beaten chicken blood, but I just injured his right knee. Matsuda took off some bulky wooden armor, but this set of armor is also quite cumbersome. It's not like going to a game. What are you doing with these things, which affects my performance? It is said that it was to prevent someone from getting injured, Jingwang said. Do you remember that Ishida last time? After being beaten by 0, I always felt like I had a bone fracture when I went back. I went to the hospital for several examinations and everything was fine, but the result was there. But he didn't believe it. Later, Shaolin said that this situation was a traumatic sequela because he was too afraid and had imagined pain. In order to avoid such a situation in the future, the instructor borrowed these armor from other schools' kendo societies for practical exercises. Really, such a guy would also become a police officer. No wonder there are so many scumbags in the police force. Matsuda roast. To be honest, if I were to compete in bomb disposal, I would definitely not lose to anyone. But the class monitor has a girlfriend, Jingwang said silently. Indeed, Xiao Zhanping has always been good at dismantling things, Hagihara said. But I am too. If there were any racing cars compared to the opposite sex, none of you could have won against me. But the class monitor has a girlfriend. +1, my words, Jianggu Zero suddenly joined the conversation, are still very confident in solving puzzles and reasoning. But the class monitor has a girlfriend. +2, Jingguang, what's wrong with you? Jianggu looked at his friend with dissatisfaction, we're on the same side. That's it. Hajiwara and Matsuda nodded repeatedly. No, I think it's quite different. Zhufu Jingguang touched his earlobe and a hint of blush appeared on his cheek. After all, my senior sister said, there is still hope for me. Ha! Jianggu Zero almost fell. Are you being looked down upon? Still being hero. Xiaolin, look at what you've done. Jingguang, shouldn't you be? It shouldn't be someone you like anymore. Hagihara looked at Zhufu Jingguang with some confusion, feeling that when this guy first said these words, he must have remembered someone in his mind. Next, lower the valley. Quick, fast, it's your turn to go, Zero. Zhufu Jingguang quickly pushed Jianggu Zero up. The arena is like a battlefield, just let your horse come over. Descending valley. Ida waved to descending valley. So, the two of them started fighting. With his extraordinary strength and well-rounded experience, Ida Air managed to take down all the attacks from the top scorer in the grade. But after all, after multiple rounds of battle, his stamina and speed have decreased, so a careless move revealed the weakness in his right knee that was previously attacked by Matsuda. Good opportunity. Jianggu Zero seized this opportunity. But if this kick is kicked over, even if it is not fractured, the squad leader is likely to suffer extremely serious injuries. Are you really going to kick it down? There is some hesitation in lowering the valley to 0. During his hesitation, Ida Hong had already adjusted its posture, hidden the flaw, and then exerted a force on Kanagaya, knocking him off the ring. The whistle sounded and the game ended. Ida Hang took off his hot armor and walked angrily to the front of Jianggu Zero, shouting angrily. Why not attack my knee? What? Jianggu felt a bit confused. I ask you, why don't you attack my knee? It's clearly a loophole there, isn't it? If we attack, the squad leader will be injured, right? Ida Airlines looked very angry and said, in actual combat, the enemy wouldn't care if you were injured. If I were the enemy, you would have been injured by me long ago. When facing criminals, one must never be soft-hearted, otherwise, they will be as unfortunate as that person. Like my pitiful father. Jianggu, remember to me. Only by becoming stronger than anyone can we truly implement justice. After speaking, he left without hesitation. What's going on, class monitor? Jingguang looked over at the back of Ida Airlines hurriedly leaving, puzzled. I'm not quite sure. Jianggu Zero also had some doubts. He just mentioned his father, maybe something happened before. With the bell ringing for the end of class, Jianggu and others changed their clothes and walked towards the direction of the dormitory. Zero, Matsuda, Hagihara and I are going out shopping together. Do you want to come together? Jingguang knocked on the door. No, I won't go. Is there anything I can help you with? No, right. Okay, then I'll leave first. A few seconds later, Jianggu Zero opened the door and said, Hero, can you help me bring some toothpaste? There is already no one in front of me. What, it's just a trip out, it's just slipping too fast, isn't it? It seems that I still need to go to the convenience store outside. Jianggu Zero chuckled. He walked down the stairs and happened to see Ida Hang sitting on the lawn, lost in thought. Class monitor. Xiaolin Meishu was wearing casual clothes and walking alone on the brightly lit street. At one moment, a sense of loneliness suddenly struck from the bottom of her heart, dragging her thoughts below reason like an undercurrent. This feeling. Indeed, I have become accustomed to it. Since becoming a taskmaster, she has long been accustomed to living alone. She covered her heart and silently calmed her thoughts. Host, Xiaoyi will be with you. Thank you very much. Wandering aimlessly on the sidewalk, she turned slightly and a silver-haired figure flashed past a certain alley, quickly disappearing from sight. That's it. Her eyes narrowed, and memories belonging to this body automatically came to her mind. The worried face of the parents, the cold urging of the silver-haired man, the faint barrel of the gun under the black windbreaker, the noise, the sound of police sirens, and the sound of firefighting. Jin. She couldn't help but chase a few steps in the direction of that person. Xiao-Yi, what was the situation just now? According to the rules of this world, when encountering key storylines or characters, important memories of identity settings will be automatically triggered, which is also to conform to the logic of the world and avoid the consideration of the host being excluded as a foreign object. I know all of this. I just want to ask, the person just now, Qinjiu, why did he appear here? This. I'm not sure. A feeling of unease flashed through Xiaolin Meishu's heart. She turned around and indeed saw the figures of Sanfu Jingguang, Hagihara Kenji, and Matsuda Junpei not far away. Sure enough, did they see what happened just now? Whenever encountering important things, one will inevitably be caught by the main character, which is probably the legendary plot killing. That's right, her identity this time is not just that of a refined police academy doctor. To some extent, her setting is somewhat similar to that of AI Hybra. Originally a happy family of 4, 2 sisters were twins. The mother with medical talent was recruited by the organization, while the father, who was a police officer, was caught up in it. He constantly torn between justice and the safety of his family, and was condemned by his conscience. One day later, their whole family was asked to attend a seminar, and they were sent to relatives due to illness. Only their parents took their sister there, and they never came back. Just the news of an unexpected fire at the seminar venue and the loss of all lives. Only the child who survived, Meishu Kobayashi, decided to become a police officer and seek revenge for her parents after learning about this matter. She was admitted to the police academy in the hope of obtaining the identity of an infiltrator, becoming an undercover agent in the organization, and ultimately destroying that despicable organization. Originally, everything went smoothly towards becoming a police officer, but on the undercover application, I was stuck in the process by police officers who were familiar with my father because they didn't want my old friend's child to do such a dangerous thing. However, Meishu Kobayashi is not someone who easily gives up. In the process of striving for her goals, she even split into a sister's personality to console herself due to excessive longing for her family. Therefore, after the application was rejected, she persisted in communicating with the other party, and finally took a step back on both sides. The final agreement was that she would work as a doctor at the police academy for 1 year, during which time she would not have any negative records and would maintain a good reputation to prove her emotional control and medical skills. If this condition can be met, allow her to infiltrate that organization in her own way. That's also why she didn't personally take action when she taught Ishida a lesson and helped the ghost tomb instructor before. Because these things may be used by those police officers as part of the bad record to prove, she won't be able to fulfill her body's wishes. In theory, as a tasker, she can completely ignore these settings and just complete her tasks and leave. But if you want to complete the task, it is recommended that the host infiltrate the organization. This is what Xiao-Yi said at the time. Of course, there is also a part of the reason because I am very interested, yes, in that black organization. After all, it was once a popular anime. At the beginning, Qinjiu had been playing for more than 20 years, but Conan's understanding of the organization was still only superficial. Even if she is not an anime enthusiast, she is still somewhat interested in this organization that only knows its name but does not see its people. As for sympathy for the experience of this body itself. Yes, but not much. In the past, when she was doing tasks in ancient times, she had experienced many things such as chaos, war, natural disasters, and man-made disasters. In an era where human lives were like grass, she had seen so many such things that she couldn't sympathize with them. If it weren't for her years of studying the core socialist values as the foundation, I'm afraid her values would have been distorted to an unknown extent. In short, after comprehensive consideration, fulfilling Kobayashi Meishu's wish is the optimal choice. But the most important thing now is how to deal with these three people. Xiaolin Meishu raised her head and calmly looked at the three men in front of her, slowly saying, "Did you eat it?" On the other hand, Ida Airlines and Kongu Zero chatted and walked to a convenience store near the school. I see, that kind of thing happened back then. After listening to what Ida Airways had said about his father, Katsuya couldn't help but sigh. Originally, when Ida Hong was still a child, he admired his father as a police officer very much. His father always liked to hold a toothpick in his mouth, which could make his thin and weak body look more fierce. One day, he went shopping at a convenience store with his father, but unexpectedly encountered a robber. Because there was only one person on the other side, he thought his father would definitely defeat the robber, but he didn't expect his father to not even resist, so he knelt down and begged for mercy. At that time, he was very dissatisfied and directly shouted out his father's identity as a police officer to the robbers, but this caused his father to be beaten even more severely. After that, although the incident was still resolved by other police officers and his father was seriously injured, he left the police industry and became a cleaner, but he still held this matter in his heart. From beginning to end, he didn't even show any resistance. How could such a weak guy take on the responsibility of being a police officer? It was precisely because of this incident that Idaho and his father had a very unpleasant argument, to the extent that they didn't even tell him about dating a girlfriend. But perhaps it was out of consideration for the hostages. After thinking for a while, Kanagawa asked. No, I could see very clearly at the time, and there was clearly only one person at that time. Ida Hong was speaking when the convenience store door suddenly made a loud noise, and two armed criminals swaggered in. Everyone squat down, don't move. Host, there's an accident at the convenience store over there. Ida Hong, Kongu Zero is trapped inside and there are two gunmen trying to rob the convenience store. Xiao Yi has received news. Xiaolin Meishu paused while engaging in routine and anti-routine activities with her younger classmates. What's wrong, senior? Did you see anything strange? Hagihara walked up to her and curiously poked his head to inquire. Please don't say that, Yen Erjuan, Xiaolin Meishu smiled slightly, isn't it you who is currently in front of me? Hajiwara gave a brief gag. In terms of yin and yang, my senior sister's rank is much higher than him. So, did the three of you investigate the customers at that motorcycle store who had tattoos at Jingguang's request, but were rejected by the staff? Jingguang nodded, feeling a bit disheartened. I finally found a clue related to that case, but unexpectedly hit a wall in the first step, which is not a good omen. Where is that store? I'll try to ask and see if it's good, said Kobayashi Meishu after a brief thought. Yes, but would it be too troublesome? Kobayashi Meishu. Keep an eye on it. Jufu Jingguang couldn't resist Xiaolin Meishu's slightly oppressive gaze and told her the relevant clues. Although I think it's unlikely to be the culprit in that case, if my senior sister wants to investigate, she should be careful, Zhu Fu cautioned. There's no need to be so verbose, at least she came out of the police academy, Matsuda interrupted them impatiently. He is feeling inexplicably unhappy at this moment. Even though the second year of graduate school is naturally familiar, has it started calling out names directly to Zhu Fu? While chatting with a few people, Kobayashi Meishu replied to Xiao Yi in her mind. If there are two people, I believe they can handle it by implication. I don't think I have much chance to make an appearance in this matter, do I? No, those two are just surface numbers, actually there are far more robbers than two people. What Xiaolin Meishu felt that she couldn't quite understand. She was already confused by the behavior of the robbers who didn't rob the bank and went to grab a convenience store. Surprisingly, the act of robbing a convenience store was still committed by a gang. In my impression, the 1 billion yuan robbery led by Minami Miyano was just 3 people, right? The robbers nowadays. Their brains are full. Oh, don't go into detail about these things. The plot of the 73 thieves in the later stage has already collapsed into a mess. Compared to the intellectually disabled operation of football and satellite kicking, this can be considered good. What kind of thing? Football and satellite. Kobayashi Meishu took a cold breath and instantly felt. The intelligence of the robber was decent. Sure enough, without comparison, there is no harm. What should we do, host? Go and support us. Go. Kobayashi Meishu slapped her forehead and said, isn't that the gunman? It's time to use another prop. Chapter 9. The Magic of Love Circles. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Idahong and Congo Zero, who were blocked by robbers in a convenience store, are now covered in injuries and tied up with others, locked up in the warehouse. I didn't expect them to have even planted accomplices in the store staff, said Idahang, who had just been punched several times and now had a dark corner of his mouth. I'm sorry, it was my mistake in judgment that caused you to be beaten as well. What are we doing now? I didn't see it either before, didn't I? Jiang Tano whispered as she tried to untie the rope for Ida Aviation. The most important thing now is to find someone to help. The kidnappers didn't leave immediately after they got their hands on it. They must have been waiting for the cash truck to come and deliver cash, taking advantage of this opportunity to steal the money from the truck. Since those people didn't cover their faces, they probably didn't want to let go of these people in the store, so they need to get out as soon as possible. You're right. Ida Hang's heart became anxious, and the rope quickly broke free. Subsequently, under the instruction of Jiangu Zero, the other hostages were silently untied by the two, but their hearts remained very tense. Because all their communication tools have been taken away, they are currently unable to contact the outside world. Even if they temporarily get out of trouble, they can only face each other's gunshots after going out. No, maybe there's still a way. Hiro and the others should probably come back. Jiangu Zero looked at the light controller on the wall and a fleeting thought flashed through his heart. Half an hour later, the sound of the cash truck came from far to near, and the robbers were also prepared according to their respective tasks. At that moment, several unwelcome guests wearing floral shirts and glasses burst in. Oh ho! I really had a great time today. How about buying a few cans of beer later and going to the stall? Good idea, I'll make sure to drink you down later. Just your tolerance for alcohol. Let's just forget it. That's right, the people who came were Matsuda, Hagihara, and Jufu, disguised as delinquent youths. After parting ways with Meishu Kobayashi, they saw the Morse code transmitted by the convenience store lights on their way back, realizing it was not right and came to help. For safety reasons, Hagihara contacted dozens of classmates from police academies outside to stand guard, while he, along with Jufu and Matsuda, served as the vanguard to stabilize the armed criminals. Host, do you really need to use that prop? Xiaoyi looked at Xiaolin Meishu, who was disguised as a passerby hiding on the side, with a hint of hesitation in her tone. Use it, what's wrong? No, it's nothing. Xiaoyi thought for a moment, but still let out a sigh. Xiaoyi, remember to listen to my command later and see the timing before taking action. Xiaolin Meishu's tone of causing trouble was already a bit overwhelming, otherwise it wouldn't be good to be treated as a supernatural event, understood. At the same time, the scenes in the convenience store were also staged as planned by Hajiwara. The kidnappers were very unhappy with the three of them for their lateral thrust and wanted to teach them a lesson. Then, the three of them pretended to be drunk and mistakenly thought that they were shooting a movie with their guns. They began to volunteer and, through self-presentation, pretended to stumble over the three robbers and snatched their handguns. Stop, otherwise I'll shoot. The cashier at the convenience store noticed something was wrong and immediately took out a pistol from his pocket. Damn it. I didn't expect that besides those few people, there were others with handguns. The original plan was to eliminate the 3 people holding pistols and use a sea of people tactic to take down all the people inside, but unexpectedly, someone hid their guns, which was a bit bad. Hagiwara paused for a moment, his forehead starting to sweat uncontrollably, while Matsuda picked up a billboard as a shield and rushed towards the shop assistant without hesitation. Danger! Jufu Jingguang's pupils shrank, and the pistol that was originally aimed at the clerk's arm hesitated for a moment due to Matsuda's actions. Right now, little Yi Xiaolin Meishu said softly. Received. Use prop. Magic of love to spin in circles. Prop. The magic of love rotates in circles. P.S. Are you still envious of the beautiful scenes when the male and female leads meet in idol dramas? Still looking forward to the first sight of 10,000 years? Then you must not miss this. Effect. Can act on 2 people, causing the target within 10 meters to face each other, holding hands, gazing at each other with deep affection while continuously rotating. Usage time limit. 3 minutes. With the disappearance of the props in their minds, Matsuda and the cashier, who were bound together by the props, coincidentally threw away their shields and pistols, and collided fiercely like 2 magnets attracted to each other. Their palms tightly clenched together, and their eyes couldn't help but start spinning in circles. Matsuda. What Denkei? Cashier. Where's my gun? Watching the stunned Jufu on the side, Hagiwara, other criminals. This scene always feels a sense of familiarity. Hero. Upon hearing the familiar voice, Jianggu Zero and Ida Airlines no longer hesitated and rushed out of the warehouse, along with others lurking outside, unable to resist and rushing into the convenience store. Subsequently, everyone looked at Matsuda and his companions, who seemed to be dancing in a waltz, and couldn't help but petrify. What is this doing? Is it time to dance now? Matsuda, please be clear-headed. There are a total of 5 criminals. Take advantage of this and hold them down. Having experienced strong winds and waves, Jingu Zero came to his senses again. He looked around and found that Hagiwara and his team had disarmed 3 criminals. He simply cut back the hands of another shop assistant and searched for his weapon as soon as possible. Sure enough, he found another pistol. 0. Jufu was stunned for a moment before releasing the gun he had seized from the hands of the criminal. Other classmates also reacted and rushed towards the 3 people who had been disarmed. Snatching people's heads. No, we can beat them up openly and accumulate experience. On the other side, Matsuda was spinning and staring at the other person, threatening, let go. Cashier, circle. You release it first. Matsuda, arms crossed, reverse rotation trying to get rid of the other person. Don't move if you have the ability. Cashier, following the transfer. TMD, if I had the ability, would I still use robbing convenience stores? Matsuda. I have nothing to say. Is this robber sick? Even if your center of gravity is unstable at the beginning, just find something to support it. Why do you have to pull him around and release his force? His mind is spinning out now. Cashier. What's on this person's mind? Do you really think the self-defense technique of using a spin to escape taught online is useful? Dragging him around is not over yet, is it? Forget it, this is not a solution. I'll count 1, 2, 3, let's stop together. Seeing that it was almost 100 laps away, Matsuda couldn't bear it anymore and proposed this compromise solution. Okay. There's no way, the robber is already frantically probing on the edge of vomiting. So, after Matsuda counted 3 times, the 2 of them stopped together. At the same time, 3 minutes had passed and the effectiveness of the props had finally come to a halt. After Matsuda stood still, he slowed down and immediately twisted the cashier's arm. "You've been arrested." "Cashier. I've been spinning for too long before, and I'm feeling dizzy. My stomach is starting to ache." "No, stick to your own cashier's professional ethics, you can't vomit. Just hold on a little longer, I can definitely hold back." The classmates on the side have also finished work at this moment, looking at Matsuda Junpei beside them as if they are looking at some alien. The small convenience store is filled with eerie silence and great awkwardness at this moment. Matsuda. "Oh no, shouldn't everyone have seen what just happened? Should I say something now? Xiao Zhanping, are you not injured?" After a moment of silence, Hagihara couldn't help but step forward. He pretended to be calm and patted Matsuda Seihei's shoulder. "Next time, don't rush out so recklessly. I was almost scared to death." Well, in this way, the topic should naturally be brought back to the main topic. Hagihara nodded slightly as he voluntarily helped his brothers out of the encirclement. "That's right, Ida Hong also walked out, the other party is holding a gun. This is a matter of life and death, we need to be careful when dealing with it. At such important times, it's unnecessary to pull the other person around like a child playing house." Subsequently, Ida Airlines added a sentence in a low voice. "The class monitor misunderstood me. I don't have it. It's this guy who caused it." Matsuda roared and shook the cashier's shoulder vigorously. "Hey, you should say something. Don't shake, you're going to vomit." Like the last straw that crushed a camel, the cashier couldn't help but turn around and say, "Oh my. Matsuda. Is this considered lynching?" Fujiwara said quietly. "Matsuda. Torturing the prisoner like this is not good, is it?" Zhufu Jingguang shook his head slightly, with a hint of a smile in his eyes. "If you're uncomfortable, why don't you give him a beating? This is too cruel to him." "Cashier. Thank you so much." "Ouch. Me. No. There is." Matsuda's veins were about to burst out on his face. Okay, you're not." Zhufu Jingguang tried to suppress his disobedient lips and comforted him, "Why don't you go there and rest for a while? When the police arrive, let's all talk about the situation together." With a swoop, everyone automatically dodged a position. Matsuda Seihei's fist clenched again. Jiangu 0. Forget it, he still doesn't say anything. Equals pop ha ha ha. The system that sees everything in its entirety grins incessantly while embracing its belly. "What are you doing with props on Matsuda?" said Kobayashi Meishu with a puzzled expression as she looked at Xiao Yi, who was rolling with laughter in her mind. Xiao Yi's smile instantly disappeared. "No, didn't the host originally plan to use it this way?" "No. My plan is to use it on 2 robbers." The confusion in Kobayashi Meishu's eyes was about to overflow. "Didn't you say it yourself? There are many robbers, and they all hold guns. If they use this prop, they won't be able to use handguns. Did I misunderstand?" I thought Xiao Yi's eyes gradually lost their highlight. "Woo-woo, Matsuda Xiao cuteness, fruit ba Nazi. I'm sorry for you." Afterwards, because there was still some time, Kobayashi Meishu went to the motorcycle shop that Zhufu Jingguang and his team had mentioned before. "Welcome." The shop assistant, wearing a red baseball cap in reverse, warmly welcomed the newly arrived guests. "I'm from the logistics department. May I ask if you need anything?" "Well," Xiaolin Meishu nodded slightly, still looking like a lady. "It's my sister's birthday soon. As a sister, I want to buy a car for her, but I'm not really good at this, so do you have any good recommendations?" "Oh. It's like this." The shop assistant looked at the gentle and beautiful girl in front of him with a very friendly attitude. "Let me explain it to you a bit. This one. The scorpion tattoo behind her neck flashed by, and a hint of doubt flashed in Xiaolin Meishu's mind, but she still pretended to listen attentively to the other person's explanation. What do you think? A few minutes later, the shop assistant looked at her with anticipation. Thank you for your explanation. It's really professional. I feel like I've learned a lot. I'll consult my sister's thoughts later and make a decision. After all, it's a gift for her. She smiled slightly and began her probing. By the way, I just saw that the back of your neck. Was it a burn? Well, it's just an ordinary tattoo. With the foreshadowing of that rainbow fart before, the salesperson's attitude was quite good. When I was not sensible before, I once longed for things like gangsters on TV. In order to be handsome, I got a tattoo, wouldn't it scare you? No, Xiaolin Meishu shook her head. It's just that I ran into a person with a tall cup tattoo nearby before and felt a bit curious. Is that a popular element now? The shop assistant hesitated for a moment but didn't speak. Speaking of which, my younger sister once had a period of time when she wanted to get a tattoo for a demon, but her parents mercilessly rejected it. But demons, scorpions, and the like are understandable, while tattoos like goblets are somewhat rare. She continued calmly. Perhaps it's an important item with special significance, the young man recalled. I remember that Mr. Jinjiang did have a trophy that looked very similar to a tattoo. Moreover, there was also a symmetrical guanyin tattoo on the arm of Mr. Weisho from the laundry shop across the street, probably related to religious beliefs. However, it is not recommended for girls to do tattoos or similar things. It can be seen that your parents are still very concerned about taking care of their children. Thank you for your praise. Kobayashi Meishu caught the keyword entering the river, but she didn't expect to have an additional gain of guarding outside. So why couldn't Hajiwara and his team ask before? Isn't he very good at socializing? Yo, little brother from the logistics department, is your business doing well today? A gray-haired old man slowly walked over, his gaze intentionally or unintentionally turning to Xiaolin Meishu, who was planning to leave here. Ah, it's the old man from outside. I'm fine with that. Your laundry is thriving because it's close to the police academy and there's no shortage of customers. Speaking of which, I just experienced a heart-wrenching robbery at a convenience store not far away. Wei Shui complained, I was originally planning to buy snacks for my child, but I didn't expect to encounter such a thing. Fortunately, I ran into enthusiastic police school students who rescued everyone. Otherwise, I really don't know what to do. Xiaolin Meishu frowned slightly. This person is it unlucky to have both a tattoo and a recent convenience store incident. And there was also the look in his eyes just now, although he couldn't say it, he always felt something was not quite right. However, tattoos. Why did Jingguang investigate the tattoo issue? She felt a little worried when she thought of the mild amnesia and aphasia, already cured, marked in the medical records before Zhufu Jingguang. At that time, he was only 7 years old. What exactly did he experience to suffer from such symptoms? It seems like it's time to investigate. Chapter 10. I'm not a human being anymore. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Cheers in a bird-burning shop on the streets of Tokyo, young men and women from the police school raised their beer glasses and gently collided with each other. The plump white foam was soft like cotton candy, which sent a trace of cool for the hot summer. Oh, why hasn't Hajiwara come yet? Ju Kana looked around and didn't notice the figure of Hajiwara Kenji, feeling a bit disappointed. I don't know. He left early this afternoon. Matsuda's gaze was completely drawn to the chicken wings on the table. Perhaps something happened on the way. Idahong gulped down a glass of beer. Well, after all, it was he who called us in and said if we could gather enough of 5 people, he would treat us. So even though I had already taken off the bill, I came over. However, the wine that others treated us was really enjoyable. Ah, it turns out that Mr. Ida already has a reputation, exclaimed a few girls next to him. He truly deserves to be the class leader of the Ghost Tomb class. He is truly honest and reliable. Is everything okay, haha? Idahang recalled what Hagihara had said after the convenience store incident. It turned out that Hagihara, who was still a child, was also present in the father's case. After they left, a few more people walked in with weapons and carried the money with the gangster in the shop. However, many police officers rushed over and arrested them all later. That is to say, the case at that time was actually committed by multiple people, and my father realized this and, after reporting it to the police, delayed the process in his own way to ensure the safety of the hostages. So, I have always misunderstood my father. With the release of Hagihara and Kanagaya, Idahang finally untied a long-standing knot. He dialed the number he had not contacted for a long time and talked to his father about his life at the police academy and his girlfriend. The estrangement between the father and son no longer existed. Hajiwara, who once witnessed the incident, has now become his classmate and helped to solve his doubts. It must be said that this is truly a wonderful fate. Speaking of which, the case with the convenience store last time. Yume sighed beside her. Even though we worked so hard to protect all the hostages and subdue the criminals, we received criticism from the instructors when we went back. We were even fined to clean the dormitory. It's really outrageous. Ah, we're the same. Jingu Zero swallowed a mouthful of rice, but there's nothing we can do. It involves so many lives, and we're police officers. We can't just watch over there. Kobayashi Meishu, who did not participate in the rescue operation on the surface, said. Has been implicated. However, it should be said that I was not aware of this matter before, so it has nothing to do with me, but that kind of situation is really rare, another girl gestured. The criminal disguised as a cashier was so scared by Matsuda that he dropped his gun and almost fell. In order to stabilize his figure, he even grabbed Matsuda Jun and spun around together. To be honest, if the other person didn't have the identity of a robber, it would still be a very romantic scene. Matsuda Seihei had a hashtag sign on his forehead, biting his back teeth and asking, romantic enough to vomit. In front of so many people, can we not mention this? That's right, regarding this famous scene of spinning circles, Matsuda and the prisoner gave a relatively reasonable explanation. In order to stabilize the center of gravity, and to use some self-defense techniques learned online to break free from enemy control. Ah! The girl just picked up a piece of tofu and was instantly taken off her appetite by Matsuda's words. Matsuda Jun, you probably don't have a girlfriend. Right. Yamashita Yumi asked softly. What do you want to say? Ha! Matsuda gave them a fierce glare. No, it's nothing. Yume wiped her sweat, I understand. Although he is a handsome guy, his personality is really hard to approach. This incident tells us that those so-called self-defense techniques on the internet are all deceptive. Xiaolin Meishu took a sip of beer and concluded. Matsuda. This guy did it intentionally. Speaking of which, I easily solved the matter you didn't ask before. Kobayashi Meishu looked at Matsuda with a hint of provocation. It only takes a little patience to do it. The implication is that your abilities are not good. Matsuda felt Kobayashi's provocation and turned his head in displeasure. Shoo, why are you so proud? Just asking for intelligence, we even save people. Really? Zhufu Jingguang's eyes lit up. When we went to ask, the salesperson refused to say anything to protect the privacy of the customers. How did you do it, senior sister? I said I want to buy his motorcycle. Money ability. Jingguang Deduyan, how could I not have thought of it at that time? So. I'll talk to you on the way back later. Good Zhufu Jingguang and Xiaolin Meishu whispered to each other, and the other girls saw this scene with a tacit expression. Look, I'll say they're a perfect match. Kana raised her eyebrows. However, Matsuda also seems to care a lot about his senior sister, and there were rumors before that Matsuda singled out a group of boys in their class for his senior sister. Squeeze your eyes with beauty. Sigh. Is there such a thing? The girl next to her curiously approached. After gossiping for a few minutes, several girls reached an agreement and launched an attack towards Jingu Zero. What is Jianggu Jun doing? We're eating now. Jingu Zero focused on pouring soy sauce onto the chicken liver and then put it in his mouth. The fusion of taste and taste is just right, delicious. The way you eat is quite cute. The girls' hearts thumped and jumped. Really? I'll give it a try, too. Zhufu Jingguang finished his conversation with Kobayashi Meishu and then tasted the food in front of Tanigano. Maybe the chicken was marinated with a special recipe, which is why it's particularly tender. I'll try to replicate this recipe in the future. Is Zhufu Jun very good at cooking? Yumimi asked curiously. Well, I'm not really good at it, I just do it frequently. How impressive. Zhufu Jun will definitely be a good husband in the future. I'm flattered. Okay, good husband. Zhufu Jingguang instinctively glanced at Xiaolin Meishu across from him and lowered his head with some embarrassment. What about Jianggu Jun? Asked another female classmate. Me. I haven't done any cooking at all, said Jingu Zero. That's okay, if I have time, I can teach Jingu Jun some simple dishes. The female classmate looked at Jingu Ling's handsome face, her cheeks flushed. Well, this guy likes a female doctor who is older than him, so you probably won't be able to do it anymore. Matsuda harshly shattered the girl's fantasies. It's not like that. The girls were amazed. Hey, Matsuda, don't expose my situation without permission. Kotani took away a piece of chicken breast that Matsuda had been looking for with dissatisfaction. There is no refutation. Speaking of which, an elderly female doctor, this description has a strong visual perception, right? Yumei's gaze couldn't help but turn to Xiaolin Meishu on the side. No way. Is it true that Jianggu Jun also likes senior students? What will Zhufu Jun do? Aren't the two of them young tamers who have a good relationship? Is this considered a public confession? Because they knew the inside story, they didn't even think about it in that way. They said to others, Seems to have been targeted by some strange gaze. Kobayashi Meishu turned her back and said. Azu. Strange, isn't the air conditioning temperature here particularly low? How could you suddenly sneeze? Just as he was stunned, a coat suddenly fell from the sky, and Matsuda threw his own coat over. Don't wear so little when you're afraid of the cold. How can you maintain public order and protect others when you're sick? It's fortunate that you're still a doctor. Matsuda Seihei's gaze briefly paused on a section of Kobayashi Meishu's translucent calf, and then quickly shifted away. His ears turned slightly red, but his mouth remained unforgiving. Thank you, Mr. Curly Hair. Meishu Kobayashi draped the coat handed over by Matsuda over her body, and a faint aroma of grass instantly enveloped her body, bringing a touch of warmth to her. Because of the sorority, she still spent some time to dress up today, which is also out of respect for other girls. She was wearing a light yellow floral off-the-shoulder dress, slightly above her knees, paired with a simple princess hairstyle and matching tassels that hung down in the same color, making her particularly beautiful and charming. Matsuda Seihei watched as she wrapped her coat around her, her whole body becoming even more petite, like a sweet little white rabbit hiding under the fur of a big gray wolf, and even curled herself up into a ball, her eyebrows twitching slightly. What a small one. Sorry, I'm late. Hagihara's voice came from afar, and he clasped his hands together, explaining to the crowd, on the way here, I ran into an old lady who accidentally lost the auspicious sign she had been begging for. So I helped to find it all the way. But when I couldn't find it, I decided to go to the temple and buy her a new one, so I came late. What, such an excuse is too hasty. Down the valley and quietly roast. I see, Hajiwara Jun is really a good person, the girls exclaimed with admiration on their faces. You actually believe it? Jianggu Zero, Ida Wang, and Zhufu Jingguang's 3 faces were shocked. It's rare for my senior sister to agree with me like this. I'm really flattered. Hagihara looked at Kobayashi Meishu, who appeared to be on par with the others, and was somewhat surprised. Because I asked the system and found out that Hagihara was telling the truth, Kobayashi Meishu said. Well, it's rare to let you go. Do you want me to share your thoughts? Aren't you a good person? Xiaolin Meishu was puzzled. No, Hagihara choked up for a moment. It's just the first time I've been issued a good person card, and I'm still a bit uncomfortable with it. Good person card, used between single men and women, is a euphemism for, we are not suitable. Oh, then gradually get used to it. Hagihara. Haha, senior sister just likes to joke. Kana and Yumi looked at this scene and looked at each other. Strangely, it seems that the senior sister's attitude towards Hajiwara Jun is too cold. Ah, I got it. Yume suddenly excitedly patted her thigh and said, on the surface, it seems noisy, but in reality, she cares and trusts the other person very much. She's arrogant and charming. Oh. Gana suddenly realized, so it's like this. Wow, I hit it, truly worthy of being a senior student. Asterisk 2 because they were quite close, Kenji Hagihara, who could hear the conversation between the two very clearly, said. For the first time, she felt that the girl's thoughts were so difficult to understand. Meisu Kobayashi, who has a good hearing. 2 of you, listen to my advice. Knocking anything will only harm you. So, under the diverse and distinctive ideas of everyone, Xiaolin Meishu silently won the title of Sea King among her classmates without her knowledge. So, let's go sing next. After Hagihara Kenji arrived, with his high emotional intelligence and insight, he quickly brought about a friendly atmosphere, and everyone was stirred up with positive emotions, happily heading towards the next stronghold. I have a good idea. Hagihara brought everyone to the singing place and unexpectedly found that there were also many free musical instruments available here, so. Everyone, let's play together. Ha! Matsuda was the first to explode his feathers and said, don't tease me, Hagi. You don't know that I know nothing about other instruments except the flute. Even the flute was barely learned because it was a compulsory course in elementary school. We are the same, the other 2 girls nodded helplessly. Don't worry, those who are not good at it can choose to sing or dance, and the same goes for them. Kenji Hagihara said with a smile, come out and relax. Don't be so stressed, and everyone is good friends. Even if the performance is not good, no one will say anything. That's right, that's right. As a person, the most important thing is happiness. Xiaolin Meishu nodded, her eyes bright in the dimly lit private room, showing a hint of anticipation. Look, senior sister said that. Hagihara quickly hit the snake and stick. Well. Okay, Matsuda agreed. Just sing for yourself later. So, who will be the first one? Me. 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 Kobayashi Meishu actively raised her hand. Ah, ha. Hagihara Kenji looked at Kobayashi Meishu in surprise. The other party's mood unexpectedly rose today, making him suspect that he might have changed someone else. However, this is also quite good. Alright, let the senior sister give us a sample. Everyone applauds and welcomes us. Host, did you drink too much? Xiao Yi looked at her cheerful expression and asked with some concern. No, I didn't drink too much. Look, I can still perform. As if to confirm her words, she stood up and casually took out a long strip-shaped bag from among the many instruments. This is. Hajiwara and others leaned in, their faces turning strange. Next, please enjoy the Eru solo. Air Kuaning Yu. Kobayashi Maisuke delivered the curtain with a pure broadcasting tone and then immersed herself in the performance. 5 minutes later, the originally joyful private room was filled with the cries of sadness from everyone. Don't misunderstand, they have indeed been influenced by music, feeling heartbroken and unable to control themselves, which is why they can't help but shed tears. Although the performance is very good, Hagihara showed a toothache expression, but does this piece of music live up to your previous words, senior sister? The most important thing in life is happiness, so did you play a sad song? Isn't that right? Ah, I remember, I said that. Facing the astonished gazes of the crowd, Kobayashi Meishu calmly said a sentence that shocked the whole audience, so, I'm not a human anymore. Host, your persona has collapsed. Ah. Xiao Yi covered her face, this is clearly drunk. Sure enough, people who are drunk will not admit to being drunk.